Yo, 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 what up? We're back for our last one of the night. We've got Simp Nation versus YE Enenra NA Masters Tier Grand Final. Oh man, it has been a day. It has been a day where all of my Preds have gone completely down. And well, everybody else is looking pretty. Hey, Joker and Headrammer all here again, gentlemen. This one, I'm kind of looking forward to. See a lot of these this season tournament. This is a surprise. I think that Simp Nation, everybody's expecting them to run away with it. I don't think so. But Ray, give me your thoughts.
Listen, Simp Nation, they have definitely been the favorite. You know, you might say at some points they've been very confident. One could say the overconfidence could be their downfall. We'll see, but they're a team who basically said in the midseason tournament, we don't need to do it. They let the rest of the teams do it, and they did not participate in midseason. They were comfortable with where they were at and where they were going to be at the end of the season. I mean, to their credit, they did dominate and still get first overall in the regular season, and they have done very well in the playoffs so far. But this is the culmination, the moment for all of that confidence and preparation to come boiling up, and we'll see if they can bring it home.
Joker, my dear friend.
I'm in mourning. I've changed my outfit again. I'm in black. I'm in all black because of how bad our predictions have been today, Billy.
I mean, I feel that I seriously feel like the BP of CGL right now. And it's not because I don't know what's going on. It's just like, and nothing is going right for me today. So this is just cherry on top.
You just got to be just like him and just own it. Like, it's okay.
I mean, I will never own that. We'll get onto that a little bit later. But Joker, I mean, tell us about, because you've cast a lot in the Masters tier this season. Does Enenra have a chance?
I mean, sure, everyone has a chance, right? In something or other. Do they have a chance in this game? I don't particularly think so. I think Simp Nation has been the best team in this tier the entire season, and I think they are going to continue to show why they are the best team in this tier in this matchup.
All right, one more check-in, Alex. Trying to keep me on track here, even though I said what time we were coming back. I have to walk 10 steps from here to there.
Oh, it's so far. It's so far. I know.
I've got my Pescetti. Like, I've got Pescetti.
Okay.
Like, I was trying to nom down, and then you guys started pinging me. And, well, what do you think about this matchup?
I think it's gonna be an interesting matchup. I think Simp Nation, I agree, is favored overall, but I mean, Enenra is also no slouch themselves. I mean, if you look at their records for this season, they're pretty close overall. Enenra got obviously their bonus match win from the midseason tournament to bring them up to 8-1. But I mean, the map depth themselves is 21 versus 17. It's not too terribly far off. The last time these two teams played each other, it was a 3-1 for Simp Nation. It's been a few weeks back. That was week 3. So obviously a lot has changed since then, and we haven't really seen them face until that time. But I think there's absolutely a shot though for Enenra. I don't think it's like hopeless or anything like that. And we've also heard the rumors on the grapevine. The two teams are looking to do a Rhine 1v1 on the first map. So I mean, that in itself means there's a little bit of a toss up. Maybe not playing their most preferred or ideal comps. I believe Krusty, if I remember correctly, is a big fan of his Rhine play. So if they lose that one, maybe they are done for.
I mean, I'm here for it. At least there's a gentleman's agreement to it. It gives us something different to look at as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rosters. We'll start out with Simp Nation as we get that pulled up right now. There it is. Maybe coming up here. Maybe. Simp Nation will be starting out the gate here. Poop, Pixie, Rhaenyra, and Fatty Elizabeth. Now, there's some CGL royalty here. We've talked about it before. Poob is somebody that I have known for a long time. Rhaenyra is also very good. Pixie, lovely stuff from all this team. I mean, this team is great. I'll explain why my predictions are the way they are later on.
I was gonna bring that up, Billy.
Well, I mean, I know who these players are. I mean, come on. I've been around here for a minute or two. As we bring up YE Enenra's lineup. Well, we got a kind of a carryover named Zeus, Okame, Krusty, Omnipotent, and Easton. Easton being the West Virginia Mountaineer, also from Heroes Party as well. We'll be bringing up the rear here. So I think that there are opportunities here for YE Enenra to kind of get some work done. But I tell you, I want to see, if Simp Nation can live up to the hype, if they can live up to their billing, if they can live up to skipping the midseason madness tournament and coming into it. So I tell you what, this is where I'm sitting at right now. I think that Simp Nation, their ego might be getting the better of them today. That's the way I feel. I feel like we kind of saw that happen in the previous series, where Red Team kind of expected things to go back and forth, and they may have rested on their laurels, and they weren't able to bring out their best. And then when it came down to crunch time, they weren't able to get that sixth gear where you saw Short Bus sitting and resting comfortably on cruise control. So we'll see. We'll see how that's going to go. Preds are up next, and well, we have our Preds in. I got mine last second as my husband tries to throw mushrooms at me because he can't hold things in his hand. So we'll see our Preds coming up here. Yeah, I'm the only one picking an Enenra here, and it's the Easton factor. Easton is such a personable person, and they play in Overwatch Collegiate, and that's basically the only reason why I'm going with them. That they've competed in 2 teams that have made it into the playoffs this season, so I also think they have that pedigree going behind them. Plus the honorable Ryan Muir. I claim hosts duties here and say that it should set the tenor for the entire match.
So they're gonna win by aura, is what you're saying?
Yes. And whilst you discuss why your Preds are good, Ray will let you start out with. I'm gonna eat my spaghetti.
Listen, I just think Simp Nation's the better team. They've proved that all season long, and the reason I gave Enenra a map is because I think there's going to be a map where Simp Nation gets a little cocky. Maybe they off-roll, maybe they don't, but I think they're going to have one map where they're just a little silly and they're going to lose it, and then they'll refocus and win in 5.
Joker?
Yeah, so I picked 4 because that's all we've seen today, and I think that's just going to continue. Now, would I love to be wrong? Yeah, I'd love to be wrong. Because, that's just more Overwatch, right? But I don't think it's going to happen, because that's just what we've seen all day long.
Well, you see, unlike Joker, I don't use other tiers to base my predictions for this tier. I have hard, cold facts. That's what I'm using my information from.
Do you? What's your hard, cold facts?
Yes, do tell us.
Yes, one, Simp Nation themselves are obviously favored one in this series. They've been the dominant team the entire season, which is why I predicted them to win. But at the same time, I'm giving 2 maps to YE Enenra. Because one, first map is that Ryan mirror map, so the teams are having a little bit of fun with it. I know Krusty really loves the Ryan play, and they're very strong Ryan player, and their team knows how to play around it. So they could very well take a map just off of that. And also, I gave them a map because, well, they are a good team, and like you mentioned, a little bit of the confidence could get to Simp Nation on a few aspects of it.
Very well. I don't know what else we can really bring to the story here other than, we just need to figure out how the day is going to end. And I want to get intangibles here from all of you. We'll start off with Ray. We'll test your master's knowledge here. What do you think that Simp Nation brings to the table that Enenra will not be able to match up with?
I think it's just that veteran experience that comes from players who have been in CGL for so long. Have they taken breaks here or there? Yeah, but they've basically been there and they've done that. And I think the confidence they've built all season long only feeds into that more. And I think that's what they bring to this matchup.
All right, Joker.
The N7
Intangible?
difference.
The N7 difference. That's not fair that you bring that up, but I'll give you a point for that. That's good. What do you think Enenra brings? On the other hand, that Simp Nation might not be able to deal with.
My hockey playing goat Easton. plays hockey, and I like Easton for that. Or he did. I don't know if he still plays hockey, but he did.
Okay.
Alex, you can take your choice or give us one for either team.
You know, I think the fact that Krusty is, willing to play that Reinhardt, a hero that hasn't really been in the best of states recently. The fact that you can play that hero at a high level, and then also your team is confident enough in your play to play around it and commit to it, I think is a strong thing. I talked earlier in the other series about playing your style, and I think their team does have a style, and I think that's really important. Your team commits to that. I think if you are going to be one of those teams that counter swaps constantly, you have to. It's really hard to do that unless every player on your team is extremely flexible, and you're going to end up being kind of about mid at a little bit about everything. But if you're really good in one thing you do, you can beat a lot of teams.
Well, I tell you what, I like the fact that we've got the hockey reference, we've got the veteran reference, and then we've got the don't be mid reference. So I think for me, I think that it's time for an underdog to come up. We haven't really seen the underdog story really play itself out here during these championships for the past couple of weeks. So I would like to see an underdog come through. I've always been an underdog stan for the most part, unless it's like, red team. And I mean, they got crapped on today, so I'm still feeling the sting of that one. But I think for me, I think the underdogs have really shown up, especially mid-season tournament, especially going towards the last part of the season, earlier part of this championship bracket itself. So we'll see now as we round out the NA Masters tier here. Are we going to be able to get the work done? If you two don't shut up, I'll knock you out.
You just witnessed a live death threat on the CGL stream.
Yeah, dogs aren't supposed to be barking or growling at people. Anyways, so we'll take a look at the bracket, see how we got here, and then we will get it over to Fletch and Shadowfang, who will be our casters coming up, and we'll go ahead and take a look at that. Hopefully, Mr. Blizzard, as we look at our, yes, possibly the bracket. There it is. Enenra, they did make the lower bracket run. They lost to a Galactica, but then they get their revenge. We talked about this in the first half or the first part playoff, Joker. Galactica got their revenge. And so now we see Enenra come back and get their own revenge against the revenge. And it was a 3-0 fashion as well. So, if we talk about recency bias, if we talk about previous results and how things are going to go down, I mean, Enenra getting here might have surprised a few people, but you know what? They're still a damn good team, and I think they're going to give Simp Nation a run for their money.
Yeah, unfortunately, the losers finals was a forfeit win for loss for Galactica. But it allows UIE and Enenra to get into the finals. It should be a fun matchup, right? It's going to really show has YE and Enenra fully evolved since that first round, right? And it's only been 3 rounds since that happened, but still, can they truly have built into what they need to have to take on Simp Nation?
Well, it's all over but the crying, and I want to see, taking a look at how we've gone today, because we're waiting for the lobby to get set up. We see people starting to show up right now, but we want to make sure everything's good to go before we throw it over to Fletch and Shadow. I tell you what, we've seen a lot of one-sided battles today. Yesterday was the day that will live on for a long time. That 7-match series yesterday had me excited on the way home from work. It started at work. I drove home listening to it in the car. Then I got here, and holy cow, that was a series to end them all. But today has kind of been expected business as far as what records and schedules coming into this have looked like. It's generally been the better team coming into it that has taken the win. So, Ray, one final thought before we get it over to our casters.
I just think, this has potential if YE and Enenra plays to their greatest potential to be a good series. Possibly a 6 or a 7 mapper. But again, I just think the veteranness and just confidence that Simp Nation plays. Like, I feel like if map 1 doesn't go well for Enenra, Simp Nation can just ride like their confidence and their momentum to a quick and easy series win.
Well, we will see if that happens. Joshua, your final thought.
Ryan gameplay. We're going to see a lot of it, and we're going to enjoy it because Reinhardt is fun.
Ryan
is fun, but I think
Ryan
also, I
is
mean, we talked about how there's been a lot of 4-0s recently. These grand finals. I think that's is kind of an unfortunate reality of how a lot of matches in Overwatch work. Is these grand finals ones where a team starts losing and it kind of snowballs a little bit out of control. I do think though, with the way this first map is supposedly happening, this handshake Ryan v1v1, even let's say Enenra, or remember who really wins this first map? I think the fact that it is a gentleman agreement to play a certain way might start out a little more interesting, since even if, like, say, Simp Nation lose the first map, they'll be like, oh, well, we just agreed to play Reinhardt, or even if Enenra do the same thing and win their side, that they have the kind of, it's able to mentally excuse that, and the mental game is a really important thing in Overwatch.
So, just to piggyback off that, just a tiny bit real quick, I agree on the side of YE and Enenra because they seem very enthused and want to play that. If they lose the first map, I think that's worse. They'll just be like, man, we got this gentleman's handshake Ryan and we still lost to it. If Simp Nation loses, like you said, they can just be like, we agreed to play Ryan. Now let's get back to the comps we play.
I'm confused. Are we surprised that? Because Simp Nation just played Ryan their entire matchup that I casted against who was it? Their first round playoff game. They run Ryan. That's what Simp Nation runs. I think this is it's gonna be fun, but I think Simp Nation played Ryan their entire matchup.
Wait, what?
Yeah, and against Mythos Hydra. They played Ryan.
That was against Mythos Hydra, though.
Yeah, I mean, that could
know,
just be they know they're going to win, so they're playing Ryan.
Yeah. Before we get it thrown over to our wonderful casters here for this grand final, let's take a look at the casters' predictions so that we can laugh later on.
Yes.
Unless they agree with me. Yes. I like Fletch. He's my guy.
Yeah,
Predicted exactly what I picked.
A nice beard. Yes.
Smart brain. He's been known to have a few wrinkles there.
Wow. Fletch is also taller than everybody realizes. Fletch is actually almost on my height. So he's actually almost my height. I was completely thrown because I walked into the arena, into the esports stadium, and he goes, "Chef Billy," and he waves at me. I'm like, knows that face, but who is this tall giant coming towards me? It was Fletch.
Yeah, that's how I work on camera too.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's how I work on camera too. Actually.
Yeah. You're actually 7 foot tall, right, Headrammer?
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna be looking around the tables for your head.
Yeah, I'm actually crisscross on the floor right now.
He's actually Headrammer.
I'll believe it
known
when I
fact,
see it.
is actually a Tolkien dwarf.
Yeah, that is. I'm actually copyrighted. Anytime you put my image somewhere, boom, $50 for me.
Heard. All right. Headrammer salutes will be going out for $5 a piece after this, but let's get it over to In the Fletch and Shadow Fang, your casters for the NA Masters tier grand final. Gentlemen, take it away.
Good evening, everybody. It's time, man. It is time. Shadow, are you ready to get this match between Simp Nation and YE and Enenra going?
Oh, I absolutely am. Anytime I can see some Reinhardt gameplay at a higher tier, I am all for it. So, especially with the two teams agreeing to do a Ryan mirror duel here, I'm just kind of curious how the teams are going to play around the Reinhardt. Is someone going to pull out the May Bastion? What are they going to do exactly around the Ryan? That's what I'm more excited to see.
You think about it, Reinhardt does have some pretty, traditionally strong friends that he likes to play around with. You said the May, Sojourn, Cassidy, they're pretty interchangeable right now. Then the backline is been forever and for always will be probably Baptiste and Lucio.
All right, it's really just that second DPS. That's really what I meant. Like, it's just the second DPS that you could change between a few different heroes. But we're pretty much, like you said, it's pretty much just Rhine, May, Bap, Lucio. Take your pick of any number of hit scan that can go with the Rhine. I would like to see the cast just for old time's sake, because, we used to see that back in the old Overwatch 1 days.
Yeah, we are still waiting to get our first map pick in. So it's not usually that what composition is getting run on map number 1 and not map number 1. So we're just waiting for, I believe, Simp Nation as the higher seed to come get this map pick. We have seen a lot of Nepal recently in this playoff. It's just like, Lijiang Tower's not here. And so, next best down the list, you see. Oh, I know Nepal. Nepal's been around a while.
I've played that map a few times. I recognize this one.
Yeah.
What if Simp Nation just pulls the Samoa for absolutely no reason? Just like doing the ego pick. It's like, no, we'll just pick Samoa because we know nobody knows this map like that yet.
You think, right? It's like there's really only 2 options here for this Reinhardt mirror that both teams have agreed to, as we've talked about, to death at this point. But it's Nepal, which to be honest, I think that's where we're going to end up.
Yeah, more
here, map number 1. I actually wouldn't be surprised to see Samoa, right? For the most part, it is a pretty rush-heavy map.
It is. It is a flat map with not that many high grounds. I would be shocked to see Oasis. That's like the least Rhine map that's ever existed. But it would also be kind of funny to see them both try and play
University.
that map with the Rhine.
University, I feel like, is a really, really good Rhine map. But the rest of them are kind of. But yeah, I do think that we're going to Oasis, or not Oasis. we just went
Nepal.
through that. I think it's going to be Nepal. As we wait.
And
it does look like we have a selection here from Simp Nation. Yeah, so who could have guessed that? Map number 1 going to be Nepal.
There you go. I'm wondering if we might see the straight up May Sim duel, the Spitfire duel, if you will. Just both teams opting for the Sim TPs the whole map.
Yeah,
you think, because there are a couple of maps where it's really good here.
Yeah, you think about control maps where Reinhardt is really, really good. If your first thought's going to be Lijiang Tower, but then down on that list after the maps on Lijiang Tower, you see Nepal Village. That little bedroom that you cram yourself into for the point is very, very strong for a Reinhardt bunker comp, and those interests are very easily cut off by May walls. So you pair it with the Symmetra, like you said, is going to be an option where you just set up the microwave and people go bzzz, and but then you've got the choice to fight from the high ground as the hit scan. You can go Sojourn or Cassidy, like we were talking about. They are, like I said, pretty interchangeable right now. I think really the Sojourn Cassidy difference is, do you want to play fast or slow? Because Cassidy has a little bit more staying power, and Sojourn has more mobility and overall burst damage. So I think that it's just that's like the main difference if we're gonna see Reinhardt comps. I feel like is whether we see the Sojourn or the Cassidy. Yeah. And I'm really interested to see what these teams are gonna roll with.
And the Lucios are going to be absolutely crucial. Like, we'll have to pay really close attention to the Lucio duel here, because I just think having that speed available at the right times, having beat available at the right times, like, it's going to be crucial running in and out of those Miblizzard spots, hitting the sound barriers, like I said, at the correct times so that your whole team doesn't die. And then with Ryan having that buffed shatter as well, there's a high possibility that if you get shattered, that's it for you, unless maybe your Lucio doesn't get shattered, has sound barrier, maybe your BAP doesn't get shattered, but it's gonna be really crucial, I think, the Lucio duel here.
Yeah, and I do think, like, this matchup in general is super interesting because, you know, the last time, at least in the regular season when these two teams matched up, it wasn't a sweep, but it was Simp Nation taking it because, you know, YE and Enenra, their only loss on the season was to Simp Nation. So, you know, obviously they want to get some get back, and, you know, there's no time to get that get back than when everything's on the table, right? So maybe there was some, you know, obviously the Reinhardt pick, the Reinhardt gentleman's agreement is very, very fun for everybody. But you got to think, you know, they know what they want to do, and they're going to do everything they can to get it done.
Yeah, most definitely. And it looks like we are actually getting into the map right now, and we're starting on Village. So we're starting on the Reinhardt map, which, I mean, what better way if you're going to have the duel to start with than to start on the Reinhardt map on the ball?
Yeah, we're just waiting for some extra little seconds to get in there. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I'm really, really excited to see this. You know, you got to see a little bit of great Reinhardt action in the Overwatch Collegiate Homecoming earlier with Jerpy returning to form and Reinhardt flagging out. So this is going to be a lot of fun. And, you know, YE and Enenra, they are on the May Symmetra, but Simp Nation, as we wait for the spawn timers to go down, they're on something interesting. But YE and Enenra, that's just a stock standard Reinhardt rush comp.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing from Enenra. Simp Nation probably trolling this here. I imagine we'll see the swap here in a second.
Surely, right? Okay, so the answer is no, they're not going to switch. Poop did go over to Sim, but wants to play the Junkrat. So it will be Enenra that gets to this point first. They're going to get bunkered up with Zeus throwing up those Symmetra turrets as Simp Nation takes the high ground early. Krusty, just, you know, protecting his team, know that they want to be somewhere, but Enenra is from behind, going to be able to pin Omnipotent and just swing everybody to absolute pieces on the Reinhardt. They had no clue that Enenra would be behind them, and it will be Simp Nation taking this first fight out of nowhere, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's the classic, I always call it the dive Reinhardt, where you're just kind of in their back line out of nowhere. That's what happens, though, with the Simp Nation taking that high ground the way they did. And Enenra just wasn't ready for Reinhardt to just kind of hit the flank pin on them. You know, it just wasn't ready for that.
Whoa! So Poop gets a surprise pick there onto Zeus, and with Krusty being pinned to a wall there by Reinhardt, you know, why Enenra? They just gotta wait for the healing to come through for Krusty.
Dude, Simp Nation has Shatter available Reinhardt, so I don't think Enenra is going to be ready for this. Krusty needs to be on their toes in order to block this.
Alright, Enenra walk over to the point. They try to set it up, and Easton goes off the map, but the Shatter hits a barrier. Zeus will not see life anymore here in this fight as Enenra do take the flip, but Simp Nation are going to grab the fight win here eventually, especially with Expective and Krusty going down late. Pixie actually popped off late there on the Venture, and Simp Nation takes it back.
Yeah, Simp Nation's doing a really good job of just enclosing and sort of pincering YE and Enenra from the front and the back continuously. And Enenra just has to be looking around, picking a target, and running at them before that happens.
Could have been very, very bad there for YE and Enenra, and now Krusty has Earth Shatter themselves and will find 3 on the Shatter for Krusty here. They will be able to drop Pixie, but that's the only pick they get. They have to use the sound barrier here for YE and Enenra to keep this fight rolling. The pin comes through. Batty somehow gets pinned by that from the top of the hitbox. Expective not able to pop the ice block, will go down, but Enenra takes a flip, and Reinhardt had the Shatter again. Doesn't find anything, though.
Yeah, I mean, kind of crazy. We do see this Tectonic Surge available from Pixie, but YE and Enenra has a lot of ultimates. That can't happen, though.
Yeah, Omnipotent and Zeus are already dead in this fight. They use the Coalescence and the projected barrier, but to no avail. You know, this Blizzard is going to come out late as Reinhardt gets frozen up. The Tectonic Surge not going to find any kills for Pixie here. A little bit of damage, but the flip going to come back through for Simp Nation.
Oh, yeah, that's an expensive fight. Here comes the tire from Poop.
Poob, I mean, once again, X-Fective able to take down Poob's Rip Tire in this fight as both Reinhardt's getting really, really close, but Krusty is going to be able to take down Pixie early with a Fire Strike. The damage is being dealt as Krusty has a pin back to the point, had the Discord Orb on them, no longer, so safe for now, and whoa, I don't know where Zeus was at, where he went down. The Shatter comes down, and Krusty is on their back. Earth Shatter now for Krusty to answer that, but the Life Grip gonna come through from Lisbeth. The pin gonna hit one, but you know, the damage will be there to clean it up, but nothing else for YE and Enenra. 99% for Simp Nation as overtime begins. Coalescence out from East, and they're trying to find any level of damage, to find any kicks that they can get, but nothing is coming through. Zeus returns to the fight, but it's too little too late. The pin on it to Omnipotent. They cannot escape the magnetic pins of Rhaenyra. And I mean, with it just being Krusty and Zeus left in this fight, Rhaenyra takes over Nepal Village, and it'll go to Simp Nation.
Yeah, Enenra just wasn't ready for the way that Simp Nation was playing Reinhardt. That's really what happened in that round. And they started to seem to get a little bit better with it towards the end, but they just, we're already seeing potentially the swap for Enenra off of this Rhine. I hope not, but it's looking like that's what's happening here. But they just need to be more prepared for all of these flanks that everyone is going on for the side of Simp Nation. I mean, wow, look at that healing for Elizabeth on that Life Weaver. That's the most Life Weaver stat line I've ever seen. 0 and 0. 7,200 healing almost.
Yeah. YE and Enenra will break the Reinhardt duel here. Go over to the Ramatra, but Simp Nation, they're not scared even a little bit. They're gonna come out exactly on what they came out on last map, with the exception of Poob on the Junkrat. So YE and Enenra, with their, you know, a little bit more modern rush composition, going to try and figure this out. As Krusty, I think pulled Poob down into the pit, finds two on the Ramatra, and they're able to get this map, or this fight rather, cleaned up. Someone shoved in the corner over there. It was Lisbeth, cleaned up by Zeus, and it will be Enenra taking this first fight.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reality. The Ramatra does play really well into the Reinhardt, and then the pull down into the hole, like you mentioned, that was a really cool little interaction. Zeus popping off as well on that Tracer, but no ults really to speak of going into this next fight.
Too fast for anything to happen here, so we will see another dry fight here as Pixie tries to put the Smart Excavator to use, finding a little bit of damage, but nothing crazy. Able to push Omnipotent up a little bit, but not like a whole lot. Breaks the Immortality field of Easton, but there will be a trade of Omnipotent for Fatty. Rhaenyra tries to walk forward, but I mean, Krusty being able to put that damage through the shield is no good. Krusty somehow on their back, and Rhaenyra dropping that Shatter, able to get the fight, get the flip here. You know, it's just Zeus trying to get a little more percentage.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be mad at that if you're the side of Enenra. Like, you just kind of are going to lose the fight that Rhaenyra has Shatter on. You don't really have anything for it. As soon as the shield comes up from the Ramatra, that's just kind of a free walk forward and kill them with Reinhardt Shatter.
Whoa, hi Rhaenyra. Pins, I think that was, I don't know who got pinned there, but with Poop going down and Rhaenyra trapped in a corner for a little bit, you know, this is going to be a really, really rough fight for Simp Nation to win. The Ramatra getting walking down Rhaenyra here as they try to pummel through the shield. They're able to drop Fatty as Rhaenyra just trying to get away with their life.
Yeah, they do actually manage to get away. I got to give a big shout out to Rhaenyra with the just the movement on this Reinhardt to be able to get out of all these various situations. It's like really good, and that wasn't an expensive fight for Enenra. You managed to get out of that not using very much at all, and you still have sound barrier available, which is going to be massive.
Zeus threw out the full stun there in the meantime. Wow! Omnipotent just doesn't exist on the planet anymore, I guess. So the Lucio's gone. Enenra are trying to track down Rainera in the back, but not quite able to do so. And Simp Nation will grab this flip, but this fight is not over. Pixie and Poop got a little bit too big for their britches. Walked up a little bit too far. Both go down, and Rainera has to back up here. And especially with Zeus going absolute ham in the back line, Simp Nation simply will not be able to take this fight out.
I mean, I gotta give a huge shout out to Lisbeth on this Life Weaver. These pulls on Rainera are just absolutely massive. Fight after fight after fight, pulling Rainera out of like what would be almost certain death situations on this Reinhardt.
Expective, Zeus, Omnipotent, Easton, they've all got ultimates, 4 on both sides for that matter. Expective using the Deadeye here into the Amp Matrix of Easton, trying to potentially maybe break this projected barrier, but not quite able to do so. Down barrier comes out from Omnipotent, but Easton is dead. But Zeus goes nuclear for 2 on the Pulse Bomb. The fight is even right now. It is 2 for 2, but Krusty being dead is no good for YE and Enenra. But, man, they were just barely able to bring it out as Rainera decides, I'm going to put you in the dirt to lock up the fight.
Oh my goodness. That is still a good fight for Enenra though, because they have this annihilation with their Ramatra, and Simp Nation might have their Tectonic Surge, but that's going to be all they really have. Ooh, that's not good.
That's not good. You just got to play safe here. If you are Enenra, that Immortality Field is gone. Krusty gonna use the Annihilation here, but Rainera has dropped Expective early in this fight, getting aggressive with the pin here. Rainera will go down the Tectonic. Surge will come out from Pixie, but without that Annihilation in play anymore for Krusty. Poob is just able to clean up on all of that damage. And map number 1, just like that, snap your fingers, goes over to Simp Nation.
Yeah, like I said, I think Enenra just isn't ready for the, I almost want to say Mimi play style that Simp Nation plays with. They're just doing just kind of random things all the time and getting a lot of kills from doing it. It's very effective, I have to say.
I can say that I wasn't properly ready for the Mimi gameplay either. I can tell you 100% I wasn't ready for Junkrat, Lifeweaver, Zenyatta. But yeah, it worked out. They were smart with it, right? They up low, down, or up high, down low, right? That's what I'm trying to think. I mean, Enenra just could not keep up with it. They didn't know where to look, right? Because eventually you're going to see that Simp Nation is on top of you, but just as fast, they'll be underneath you, just absolutely blowing you up. As you can see, the stat difference here, Zeus went nuts on the second sub-map. 16 and 8 on that sub-map. Krusty also playing very, very well. Statistically, not super different from each other. For the most part, anyway. You know, there's a little bit more healing, a little bit more damage on the side of Simp Nation, of course. But this is, you know, for all intents and purposes, it was, you know, not an absolute dog walk by Simp Nation.
No, not at all. It was just the random pinning by Rainera, which is going to show in this little stat block we have here. How do you get a lot of final blows on Reinhardt? Well, you're kind of in their face all the time. But what Rainera was doing that was odd was they were just popping behind and constantly pinning one of the Baptiste or the Lucio player for Enenra. So you're just down one of your biggest sources of utility / healing constantly, and you're just gonna lose those fights over and over again when that's constantly happening to you. Like you said, those magnetic pins were killing it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Reinhardt, right, is that it's not like there's a big mechanical, you know, ceiling for Reinhardt. It's pretty low by Overwatch standards. So in order to get maximum value out of Reinhardt, you can't rely on your aim. You can't rely on your you know, your side strafing movement. You've got to rely on smart plays, right? And that is what Simp Nation did, is that they were smart, they were creative. They you know,
Yeah.
they didn't take themselves very seriously. And Enenra, they tried to run something super, super traditional in that Sim, Cassidy, Baptiste, Lucio. And they tried to run it on the books, but Simp Nation, because what they're doing isn't in any of the books, you can't study that. You know, it just kind of happens that when you can't predict a team and what they're going to do, sometimes you're just going to lose.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, like we were saying, even if in theory the pinning from behind gets counterpinned, most of the time, Rhaenyra already had somebody pinned, so you're just gonna kill your teammate and catch out the Rhine. But it just, like I said, it's just too odd. I had a friend I played ranked with back in Overwatch 1 who used to do all of this, and he was like high top 500. And he just did this in like every lobby he would land in. Like, it was just absurd.
Yeah, so we do know where we're going for map number 2, and it is very, very clear that YE and Enenra do not want to deal with the Reinhardt at his peak power, because we're going to Hollywood, which, as far as our selections for hybrid maps goes, it's probably one of the better ones for, you know, say a dive composition with all the high grounds that you have on points A and B. You know, it's a little more linear on point C, but for the most part, I feel like, you know, it's pretty clear the direction that Enenra is going to want to take us here.
And I mean, Hollywood is a map everyone's like super familiar with, and Eichenwald was one of our other choices. So I mean, you know, I do like the Hollywood pick for sure. Try and force Simp Nation into a scenario they don't want to particularly be in, but yeah, from what we've seen so far, they'll just pick random heroes and see what happens. So, yeah, let's see. I'm predicting a Zen Lucio with the Reinhardt this time. You know, just screw it. Just pick whatever, you know.
All right, so Enenra are going to be coming out on the Diva here, which is pretty much to be expected. Simp Nation won't have a Lucio. They will have a Zen. For, you know, your pick there.
Yeah, they're going back with the Weaver Zen, same as map 1, so not super shocking if I'm honest. Poob, if Poob goes with this Tracer again, Poob was actually pounding on that Tracer. We only saw it for the one fight on the Paul, but they were absolutely pounding. I think I like 3 or 4 kills in that one fight they were Tracer.
I'm interested in Pixie. This is the first time we've seen the Echo look from them this match, and so, you know, I guess we will see as we get into Hollywood if this switch up for Enenra and Simp Nation both are going to work out as Simp Nation begins their assault of Hollywood. No pick for Poob, gets pulled back. That's a lot of P's in that sentence. So, okay, yeah, gonna go over to the Genji. I was like, Poob, not gonna switch. But no, they're going to rotate over to this point for Simp Nation. Rhaenyra all alone for the time being. Going to try and pressure out the Diva here as Zeus is able to get one early on it to Fatty. And the pull comes back from Rhaenyra to try and back Simp Nation out of the choke. But you see Poop very, very low. This would be a miracle for him to get out alive here. Ooh, does.
Good thing Megas exist, am I right? You do see Fatty swapping off of that Zenyatta, probably just due to Zeus's Tracer putting constant pressure down.
Simp Nation rolling up to this high ground, and now you just want to deny it from Enenra, right? As Poob is in the fight one more time, anti very, very low, gets pulled out by Lisbeth, but Xfective able to come alive here, you know, trying to make up for last map, the Cassidy switch on the duplicate from Pixie here as Krusty loses the mech and their life. Poob very, very low, gets found out as this duplicate fades away for Pixie. They're going to try and find something here in the regular Echo form. A lot of damage here out onto Xfective, but Rhaenyra in the backline is just going absolutely nuts. I mean, a second pick for Rhaenyra in this fight, the Deadeye, and the Nano Boost on to Xfective, and this will be a tick going over to Simp Nation, but YE and Enenra able to ward off the attack for the time being.
Are they?
Whoa, okay. Dragonblade gets pulled by Poob. Poob is able to get 2? I mean, 1 HP as Poop goes down to Krusty, but this fight just got blown wide open.
Yeah, that was absolutely wild, and yeah, Simp Nation definitely going to take advantage of this and push as hard as they can right now.
Yeah, I mean, Zeus is going to try and put the peak guns to good use, and Rhaenyra overextending there into the back line of YE and Enenra. Not going to be able to find anything, but I mean, it was a great try by Poop, really.
Yeah, honestly, that blade was kind of crazy, just getting those multiple picks like that. Pixie has this duplicate again, and watch out for Rhaenyra's Shatter. This backline could go down very quickly if Shatter comes through on this hotel. We've seen how Rhaenyra likes to move around quickly.
Alright, Krusty trying to take control of the high ground, but of course it's Rhaenyra up there, getting helped out by the Life Weaver. Shatter gonna come out, it only hits Omnipotent Immortality Field in for YE and Enenra. Now the rally, the Shield Bash, they're trying to take down Rhaenyra, but they cannot get it done in the face of Pixie's Immortality Field. And the Earth Shatter and the Duplicate are able to get the job done here for Simp Nation. It was a great defensive hold by Enenra, but with these staggers being all that Enenra can muster here, it will be Simp Nation taking point A.
Yeah, that's a big shout out to Pixie right there, getting the copy on the Baptiste of all heroes. You pretty much guarantee Rhaenyra's not going to go down there having that much extra healing, because you already have a Life Weaver Baptiste of your own, and then another Baptiste. There's no chance you're killing that Reinhardt in that situation with Rhaenyra.
Simp Nation doing all that they can to take this high ground control away from YE and Enenra. Hey, Krusty doing a good job of denying those the fire strikes is what I was gonna say, but if Xfective decides to try and put this fight on their back with a pick on to Poop there, who almost has the Dragon Blade, mind you, but 4 ultimates in the hand of YE and Enenra, should have them in a pretty good spot for this fight.
Yeah, I mean, they've got 4 ultimates. I want to see them use them before Simp Nation get their ults ready to go here, because they're getting really close to a lot of ults on Simp Nation's side.
All right, Ant Matrix out from Easton, and Simp Nation are just going to kite it. They're going to get out of the way. They don't want to take all that damage. And oh, man, Zeus just barely not able to take down Fatty, and gets taken down by Rhaenyra, who comes out of the shadows as the Ant Matrix faded away. Now down the Tracer, Simp Nation are going to get aggressive. The Dragon Blade out from Poop. Gonna get one there for the trouble. Now trying to take down Zeus late. And, won't take down Zeus, but get the fight win anyway.
And yeah, I mean, all of these cleaving swings from Rhaenyra are just catching so many players out from Enenra.
Whoa.
Ooh, nice kill from Effective, though. That could be big, but Simp Nation has a lot of ults.
Alright, yeah, Xfective getting called out, but able to avoid death for the time being, but great peel! Incredible peel from Krusty! Saves the life of Xfective, and it takes everything in Rhaenyra to get the kill there onto Xfective. And, I mean, life-saving care by Krusty.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of some killer peel, like you said, by Krusty. I can't believe that. Rhaenyra has swapped to Roadhog. What is this? Is this one of my ranked games?
Self-destruct out from Krusty, wants to find something. Finds the opposite. Nada for the self-destruct. Will not have a get-out-of-jail-free card, as that self-destruct tends to be, as the duplicate comes out from Pixie. They're going to try to find one of their own. The dive comes through. It's on to Easton, but it will be Omnipotent that goes down first here. Pixie does lose the mech, but yeah, that doesn't really matter because it is a duplicated mech here. And 15 seconds on the clock. Rhaenyra returns to the fight, takes down 3, and gets the cap.
Yeah, I mean, I joke about the Roadhog, but Roadhog actually is really good right now. Roadhog's one patch away from being the only thing that anybody plays on tank, so like this is not a bad pick by any stretch of the imagination. I love seeing the instant Ana swap from Easton as well. You need to have something like that to deal with this Roadhog. Don't look now, but Poob has Blade.
Oh, don't look now, but Rhaenyra's dead.
Yeah, that is
Zeus coming
also
back
a thing.
on the Sojourn, able to drop the Roadhog here and push Simp Nation back, and is, I mean, finding another to put the dagger in the fight.
Yeah, Zeus already popping off on this Sojourn pick, and they just picked it like right now, so I like this look so far for sure. Omnipotent needs to get this sound barrier. They're so close. They're so close.
All right. Zeus able to keep this charge high on the railgun just by farming it off of Poop. The Dragon Blade is out, going to be able to cut down Easton, but there will be a trade now. The get out of jail free card is in play for Fatty. Takes down the Tree of Life and the Immortality Field, but not going to be able to get back in the mech. Unfortunately, goes down to Pixie there. We'll return to the fight here very, very soon. Rhaenyra getting a little bit aggressive, pushed up, but Enenra are not. They're playing safe, super far back. They know that they've got the range to win this fight out. Poop comes back on the other Shimada. Hanzo for the DPS of Simp Nation. Now it is the sound barrier out as Zeus pops the overclock, finds one. Gonna wake up the whole hogging Roadhog, but it will not matter as YE and Enenra ward off the attack of Simp Nation. They'll stop it at how many meters? Let's see it. See, 64 meters.
Yeah, I mean that's a really solid spot to stop it at. You basically need to full cap, but that's an achievable spot for the side of Enenra to get to. And I mean, you made Rhaenyra swap off of this Reinhardt onto another Mimi pick in the Roadhog. So I mean, you gotta be kind of happy about that, you know. And look, Rhaenyra already has double the deaths they had on map 1. I believe they only had 2 on map 1, got 4 this map. So you're doing better at sort of containing that tank player.
Elizabeth is playing very, very safe. I can say that much.
I mean, it's life weaver.
yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what you do. You just kind of sit there, you know, you throw flowers.
Yeah.
I always just
Definitely
imagine
not
there's like
the,
some soothing classical music back there playing while they're playing the game, and then everybody else has like this super hard metal just playing because of how chaotic the game is for everyone except Lifeweaver.
I can only think of that one meme where it's like the Reinhardt players and it's payphone playing in the background versus the Ana players where they're hard sweating. That's Elizabeth right now listening to payphone.
Right,
at the moment.
just sitting there just chilling in the background. I'm telling you, man, like I've played a little bit of Lifeweaver, and that is how it is. You're just sitting back there chilling, just like, oh, let me jump and give myself 50 more HP. But anyways, for the side of Enenra, they're running the zombie comp, the Dallas Fuel zombie comp. I can't say I've seen this for quite a while.
All right, this will be interesting as Easton gets very, very low. Very, very dead for that matter. This fight turned for the worse immediately for YE and Enenra. They just got to escape.
Yeah. As soon as you lose your Moira with this comp is basically done and dusted, because like the whole purpose in playing this comp is to get Moira coalescence as fast as you can. So like, you know, it's just you can't really do the comp. Good kill though onto Pixie.
Yeah, they're waiting for Expective to return this fight, but without Pixie, that's a lot of that upfront damage gone. Poob has to space it out, but you can't really space it out from their backline, unfortunately, on that sniper guy. And will go down here as, I mean, the hook hits, but Zeus will live. As you see Krusty there, not really. Okay, finally now turning to try and look at this Roadhog in the staircase. They're going to grab a tick as Rhaenyra tries to play it safe, but they know where this big guy is at. Easton fades away after getting hooked. Now the Dragon Strike from Poop trying to deny some space. As you see Zeus very, very low, and Rhaenyra will be able to find the one-shot combo there onto Zeus. And oh, Lisbeth, you know, a lot of your pulls have been great. That one was not so. Rhaenyra just trying to stay alive here to the best of their ability, but there's just no shot here.
Yeah, I mean, a solid fight from the side of Simp Nation. And plus side here, if you're at Enenra, you managed to cap that before you built your ultimate, so you didn't have to burn any in order to cap. You know, that's gotta be pretty good, you know.
Okay, the dive comes through from Krusty. I mean, a couple of good shots from Poob could turn this fight on their head, but not quite gonna be there as Simp Nation they're just gonna play safe here.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get a good bit of cart push if you're the side of Enenra. You really, really need to take this next fight if you're Enenra, though. You have all of the advantages in the world. Like, you need to take this fight.
All right, well, they very clearly wanted Poob there. Not quite able to find the Hanzo. It will be a trade, however, on the other side of that dive as Omnipotent is shoved in a not so great place with some not so great people, as the bloodlust was in their eyes. Krusty, and I believe it is Easton on this point right now, has to use that fade. Hook going to meet the backside of the bubble for Rhaenyra, who does not have any more in the take a breather. Pixie returns to the fight, but because Expective has duplicated the Roadhog, not a great job or a great thing to run into there, as the hooks continue to come through from Expective, who has the whole hog ready to go. Now Rhaenyra has to answer with one of their own, and not quite able to get away for good. There is Expective, and as the Dragon Strike comes out, YE and Enenra has to play it safe. Ugh.
Oh man, the Mimi flank style that Rhaenyra likes to play plays straight into how you can just get a lot of picks on Roadhog. And then you see Pixie taking out Zeus here in this mid fight. And Enenra still has every advantage going into this next fight though, and you put yourself in a spot where you just kind of got to win one fight, and you're on third point with what, like potentially 4
Damn
minutes?
near 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, like I imagine this next fight will take about a minute, so maybe we're close to like 4 minutes, you know what I mean? So that's really, you're in a really good spot if you're in Enenra. You just need to play this next fight really well.
All right, now the overclock from Zeus in the face. Oh my god, Rhaenyra. Gonna pop the Primal Rage is Krusty, but Poob has already found 2. Very, very low is the Hanzo, however. They know where this Hanzo is at as the juggle comes through from Krusty. Wow. I mean, it's like this guy's got magnets on whoever he plays. I mean, the Reinhardt, the Roadhog, it doesn't matter. Rhaenyra's gonna find a way to pull you out of position, and Enenra, they just gotta back out.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate, because now, like I was saying a minute ago, Simp Nation now has every single advantage in this fight. So it's like, especially with Rhaenyra just doing that and then getting pulled out, it's like a drive-by. Just a literal drive-by.
I mean, Pixie goes down, but it doesn't matter. I mean, they just can't keep up. The picks coming through from Rhaenyra.
Yeah, I mean, Enenra does have both support ultimates, so that's good, but Simp Nation, as we can see, has 4 ults on their side, and I have a hard time believing Rhaenyra does not confirm at least 1 kill with this whole hog. Like, they've shown me so far they know exactly how to play this hero, like, super, super effectively.
See, Rhaenyra was waiting for the elevator to hit the top there. As you see another elevator hit the top, it's 7th Elizabeth here. Now the Coalescence out from Easton, going to try and find someone in this backline. Rhaenyra has to back up into the saloon. The Tree of Life gonna block the hook there. And Rhaenyra and Elizabeth are stuck in the saloon right now. They can't get out because of the Tree of Life. The dive is going to come through from Krusty. They need to find something as Poob and Pixie from this high ground positioning try to find something with their ultimates. Poob jumps down, but gets booped down by Omnipotent. And finally, it will be Enenra opening the doors to the final part of the studio.
You know, I wonder what their comms sounded like when that tree went down. I wonder if there was a lot of just like, you just killed us. You just killed us. We just lost second point. That tree literally just stopped 2 players from even contesting point. That is absolutely wild, and it again just turns the whole fight on its head here, because Enenra has both DPS ultimates and a Primal Rage, and they're only going up against the whole hog.
Alright, now overclock from Zeus. Death Blossom from Expective! Cleans up the damage, and Zeus comes in there with the uppercut on to Simp Nation. Rhaenyra is dead, cannot even use the whole hog, but there's gonna need to be one more good fight for Enenra to take this map. There's gonna be a touch here from Poob, who came back on the tracer, went up to the high ground, gonna drop back in, but they don't touch it! And YE and Enenra going to even up the score here on Hollywood.
Is that a C9? I don't think it is, because they couldn't make it back. I don't feel like the tracer got the touch, but you know, maybe if Pooh manages to take a little bit less damage and stay there for just a half second longer, we're seeing another fight. So I don't think that's quite a C9. It's just a really, really good play from the side of Enenra. Tying the series up too. So we're at least not seeing 4-0 today.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great map by YE and Enenra. You see the stats here. They died a little less. Sim Nation died a little more. That helps, right? When you can actually confirm the kills onto the enemy team. I mean, it was a really, really tough, close map there, but I mean, you got to really think that Enenra, they were already playing well on their attack, but then they saw that Tree of Life from Lisbeth, and we're like, oh, wait, we don't have to worry about a Roadhog and the Life Weaver? And the Tree of Life denied a hook kill?
Well, yeah. It was Soldier, right? It was the two.
No,
it
was
the tree. Didn't the Tree of Life block off both the
No,
players?
Elizabeth walked into the room and then threw the Tree of Life up. Okay. But no, I mean, that obviously wasn't the only reason, but it's like, it's the point that you can look at and say, hey, what's the thought process here? As we see the stats right here. We're going to get a quick look at Krusty versus Rhaenyra there on Hollywood. Final blows, obviously, that's kind of Roadhog's forte.
Yeah.
As a tank, is getting those final blows. But everywhere else, Krusty had him beat.
Yeah, Krusty doing a fantastic job on the Winston and the Diva. Again, that's probably why Enenra decided to go with Hollywood. It is, as we mentioned previously, it's a dive-heavy map, so pick the dive-heavy heroes. Pick the Winston, pick the Diva, and just, run it the side of Simp Nation. And next we're going to end up seeing Saravasa. I have a hard time believing that we see New Junk City. So,
Yeah.
And Saravasa confirmed. Everyone was shocked. Like, insert the surprised Pikachu face.
I think it, obviously it's everybody's map pick usually. But for Simp Nation, right, it's very clear that they don't want to deal with dive or poke or any of those silly stuff. They want to turn off their brains and run at you. That's what they want, and that's, I think, a great, Saravasa is a great place for that, as we do have a swap coming in for Simp Nation. You got to think that they're going to be changing something up. It will be a support swap, as nobody enters the lineup.
Yep, we're seeing nobody come in. I just want, can we just make all the images Reinhardt, like for every single hero? Like just have 5 Ryans. Like that's my preferred playstyle. Just go back to like old Overwatch 1 where you could pick different heroes.
6 Winstons.
Pick the same hero.
6 Winstons.
4 Winstons and a Moira. That's what we're playing.
Hell yeah. But yeah, as I was saying, it's like Saravasa has become, for all intents and purposes, Junker Queen's playground. Which is odd. One of those places actually is, one of the Flashpoint maps is her playground in the most literal sense. But I think we probably are going to see the Reinhardt from Simp Nation. I'd be surprised if we don't, because they very clearly like the funny rectangle man. I wouldn't be surprised if Enenra, they go the Junker Queen, or better yet, the Ramatra, which we saw was their attempt at a counter to Rhaenyra on the Reinhardt. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for these teams coming into this map.
Yeah, I mean, and you can opt for the Ram, and just sort of, you just kind of have to submit yourself to the shatters. Like they're gonna happen. Oh, are we seeing some potential off rolling going into here? Interesting.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Like you saw it there. I think Pixie's going over to tank.
That's what it looked like. Yeah.
And you gotta think, right? If Rhaenyra is not going to play the tank, surely it's Junker Queen, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that is what's happening here. Maybe we're seeing the Queen swap. DPS players do love Queen. DPS players also love Roadhog, though. DPS players can sometimes.
I wouldn't switch Rhaenyra off if your intention was to play Roadhog.
I don't know.
Realistically,
Rhaenyra,
they are good at Roadhog. Hot take. Hot take. They lost the map. But they are good at road. Our boy Fred, buddy Fred, how you doing, my guy? He's chilling and swimming and whatnot and what have you. As we wait to see what our teams are going to be coming out on. Pixie is going to play Zarya, and Enenra are going to play a dive.
Yes, the old-fashioned Zarya. Zarya actually was initially really good on the various Flashpoint maps, just because that's the state Zarya was in at that point in time. But it looks like Pixie might actually be going Sigma. I don't know. I don't know what they're playing at this point. It seems like Enenra might actually be going with the zombie comp again, though. So.
Okay, well, this should be very, very interesting, as Enenra will be the first to get to the point. Simp Nation will not be too far behind. Krusty doing a little bit of poke monkey here, as Simp Nation and Enenra try to play around some picks potentially. Trying to poke here is Pixie. Finding a little bit of damage, but not anything insane. But you know who is finding some insane damage is Zeus, who is in the back line of Simp Nation and taking down people left, well, not left and right, but one there for the Reaper, as it will be a trade. Flip goes over to YE Enenra. Pixie still trying to find some kind of value, able to stay alive for the time being, but they need to back up, play safe, get healed.
I mean, shout out Krusty's bubble placement so far. It's been denying a lot of healing and damage. And Poob with the stick, though, that could be
Poob
huge.
already throwing out the pulse bomb, as we also see the coalescence out from Easton. Dealing some damage, getting some healing done, as Easton knows that there is a tracer behind them. Now the coalescence out from nobody. But this first fight, it just never seems to end. They don't want it to end. The coalescence dealing a lot of damage. Zeus goes down. Krusty goes down. We're very, very close to both of their ultimates. And the Flip finally, after the first fight, Enenra, they had 66%.
I mean, you can't be mad at that if you're Enenra. You lost Omnipotent, I believe it was, got stuck by that pulse bomb, and you managed to get like another 20% after that happened. So you can't really be too upset. Simp Nation does have a massive ultimate advantage here, though. So you kind of want to try and rush this fight if you can as Enenra. Either that or you got to wait out until Omnipotent has Sound Barrier, because either way, it's going to be tough.
Dive comes through, but Rhaenyra cannot get away. The Sound Barrier from Lisbeth, not good to keep the Cassidy alive here. Nobody is very, very low as Krusty tries to find something here. The Pulse Bomb is just a fadeaway. Krusty may need to pop the Primal Rage, will do so to stay alive. And at 66%, they're going to get this Flip, and there will only be one more chance here for Simp Nation to take this point.
Ooh, that's tough though, losing Omnipotent. I think Omnipotent should be back before this next fight happens though. That's tough.
Just, you can't overextend like that. Down one. Zeus taken out by Rhaenyra here early in this fight. They're at 95%. They have 3 ultimates. They can still fight this fight. As the Sound Barrier going to come out from Omnipotent, as well as the Dragon Blade from Expective. Rhaenyra going to be able to cut nobody in half. Rhaenyra very, very low. Gets buzzed down by Krusty. The Coalescence from Easton going to be the punctuation mark on market for YE and Enenra. And that's broken, but they get it done.
Yeah, I mean, it cost you a little bit more than you would like, but you take the map and you definitely confirm it with that Coalescence. And I mean, this comp is built for you to get Coalescence off cooldown, so you're not too mad at that. Poob, though, getting the nice kill onto Zeus, that could be massive.
A little too far forward is the Reaper of YE and Enenra as we head down to the Palace. Zeus is going to switch over to the Tracer coming into this fight. Pulse Bomb out from Poob, not going to find the target this time. We'll find a lot of damage onto Krusty, though, is the rest of Simp Nation, as Enenra have to back out, especially with the Microwave being able to take down Omnipotent early.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of nice shots there from Rhaenyra. It was really just Poop taking Zeus out super early. You're taking the 4v5. That's just tough. And we see the Tracer duel here on this off angle. Oof. Oh, no, never mind.
Poob looking very, very good right now on this Tracer. Just playing patient, stalking like a tiger in the wood, in the savannah. Trying to find something there. Eventually will back out of Enenra's backline, who've, by the way, gone over to Reinhardt, which I think will be an invitation to Krusty, or not Krusty, but Simp Nation. Rainier is not on tank, so maybe not. Now the Coalescence out from nobody to start this fight out for Simp Nation. Immortality Field has been thrown down. The Deadeye trying to find something. Will get expected. Comes through for Enenra. A little.
Yeah, it's going to be close because I imagine Simp Nation is going to hard push into this and just pop grab before they get the chance to touch. No, they might not even have to. Enenra's not going to be able to touch.
Enenra have decided not to try, as they know that Pixie's really, really close to this Graviton Surge. They're just going to back out. They know where is the flashpoint at? I do not know, but what I do know is that Rhaenyra is finding picks left and right here. Found a couple with that grab, and Simp Nation able to take this fight, and the point hasn't unlocked yet, so it's okay for Enenra for now.
Yeah. I mean, you're chilling on that. That's a really big ultimate to get out of Simp Nation, and you have Shatter available. For all intents and purposes, all you have to do if you're Krusty, get these bubbles out of this Zarya. It's the freest Shatter known to man. Big kill.
They don't even have a Moira any longer here for Simp Nation. There will be a trade as Poob continues to rampage all over YE and Enenra's backline. The pin comes through, not going to find the target there. They will opt to give up this point flip early to try and save their Baptiste life, which I respect very, very much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably the smart play if you're honest, And you got 5 ults if you're an Enenra. You gotta just pop off right now. Like, you have so many advantages.
All right, pulse bomb out from Poob. Did not find a target. Still does have this recall, but able to stay alive. And grab a mini health pack there. Very, very chill for the Tracer gameplay in this backline as we get into the point. Pixie gets pinned to the wall. Sound barrier out from Lisbeth. They're just trying to burn through. And what a earth shatter here from Krusty, able to take down Rhaenyra, who popped the Deadeye. And Simp Nation, they held onto this point by virtue of Poob in the backline, but eventually Enenra will take over.
Yeah, great shatter from the side of Enenra. And you do manage to keep both your DPS ults online as well. We see Easton opting to swap to that Moira. Probably a good pick, honestly, just based on what we're seeing so far. That high sustainability has just been really useful on this map so far.
Right, Expective has the Death Blossom ready to go. Very, very much want to find something big with it. Gonna Wraith form in, gonna find the Death Blossom, and 2 for Expective. Spinning right down into the drink. Lisbeth, with their dying breath, sends them off the map, but the job is already done for Expective.
Yeah, Expective understood the assignment there. It's just, you got to give your life here to do this because you're probably getting booped off the map, but you're taking somebody with you in the process, and in this case, it was both Lisbeth and Pixie. Simp Nation does manage to hold on to their Coalescence, though, so they are going to have a really solid engage here.
Only ultimate for Enenra is the Pulse Bomb. Gonna need something, or Krusty to even build up this Earth Shatter here to lock this point up. Coalescence out from nobody, but nobody's dead! The Pulse Bomb hit Krusty, but it's not enough. Pulse Bomb out from Zeus, not gonna find a target, but everybody else will, outside of YE and Enenra, that is. Pixie will be able to take down Expective, but the overtime wick is going to begin to go very, very quickly here, and with Pixie going down, Simp Nation, they don't have a chance in hell at this point.
Beautiful play. Why Enenra is playing that H-key style right now, just kind of opting for the counter pick into whatever Simp Nation happens to play on their side for tank, and I like it. I like it, honestly. Because to me, it's just that basic comp brain, run Ryan into Zarya, you're gonna block most of the damage, that type of stuff, And I'm really enjoying that so far. Omnipotent does need to build up this sound barrier though.
Alright, Coalescence out from Easton to start this fight. The Earth Shatter comes out, it hits Pixie and kills Rhaenyra, and Krusty cleans it up, and Lucio Yeah, it's just Elizabeth giving up there as the flip will go over to YE and Enenra.
That was absolutely disgusting from Krusty. But I mean, like we said, the shatters are so free going into the Zarya. All you have to do is get bubbles out.
Zeus trying to go to work here on this Tracer. Pooh been playing very, very well this map. Zeus starting to pick up the slack a little bit, able to help the team to secure a couple of points here. Now, Krusty just going to try and walk in here. Omnipotent is going to use the sound barrier early here to try and get this fight going. The pulse bomb out, only going to find Omnipotent in the Graviton Surge, but no more is needed at this point. The damage has been done. Enenra will return with a couple ultimates in the bank.
You're not mad at that if you're an Enenra. I mean, you basically just bum rush them with sound barrier, and you manage to get out Graviton, Pulse Bomb, and Deadeye. Like, you're not mad at that at all if you're the side of an Enenra.
Nope. Enenra, they only need one good fight here, and the map is theirs, essentially. There might be a desperation touch from Simp Nation, but Enenra's not really thinking about that right now. As Poob going to get pressured there by Zeus. Going to back up to the point to join the team as you see Enenra going to come down from this staircase here. Pulse bomb out from Zeus. Going to find no targets there, and the Death Blossom will, however. And now, as this fight comes to a close, you look towards YE Enenra. Krusty with a shatter. They need one more.
Yeah, one more fight, and you got Shatter and Coalescence up if you're outside of Enenra. And Pixie is going to be the last spawner, so it's going to be... this is going to be tough. You got dueling Coalescences. If Poop can get a big Pulse Bomb 5%. Here, Simp Nation has a good chance.
3%, 2%, no percent! They don't touch! They cannot get to the point! They don't need the Earth Shatter and the Coalescence for YE and Enenra. They're going to take the map regardless, and now... Simp Nation are on upset alert.
All right, that's got to be a C9 that time. All right, that's got to be, right? Or was it close?
I don't think that they could touch at all. I don't think they had a choice.
It just wasn't enough time. Okay.
Yeah,
my goodness, that is crazy. 2 maps in a row, you get stuck in that exact scenario. That is absolutely wild.
Yeah, I mean, I never just played a good game there. Like, it felt like they were ready for everything, and there were some fights where Simp Nation were coming out on top, eventually. But the big problem for Simp Nation in those fights was that they were so damn long, and Enenra took the initiative to go to the point. I'm thinking on the first point, on that last point, the patience from Simp Nation, it works out every now and then. And you even saw patience from Enenra where they were like, hey, you know what? Screw the point. Y'all can have the point. Y'all can take the first flip. We're going to go protect our backline. Which they would not have been able to win that next fight. And I really think the point, if Easton had gone down. And as you see the stats here, I mean, very, very close overall. Pooh was on a rampage that map,
well,
unfortunately.
I mean, it's like you mentioned, that first point, that one fight, that one singular fight netted Enenra 66%. And I specifically remember Omnipotent going down to a Pulse Bomb, and I think they got another 20% before they're just doing a really good job of just throwing their bodies on point for as long as they can, even when they've lost the fight already, and it's like a guaranteed lost fight. They're just still playing objective super well, and I mean, you gotta appreciate that.
Yeah, and I mean, let's get a look at Xfective and Rhaenyra here. Rhaenyra coming in to play the hit scan-esque role in place of Pixie. Very, very close, but I do want to say that Xfective really, really did struggle on map number 2.
Yeah.
Or map number 1, rather, and has
1.
since then picked it up big time, not dealing like a whole lot of damage, but dealing enough damage, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting the job done. You're getting a good job out of Xfective here to keep your series alive, because frankly, I think if Xfective stayed playing the way that they did on map number 1, I mean, we might be at match point for Simp Nation. So
Shit, not lying.
good on Xfective for picking up that slack that they left behind on map number 1. And speaking of map numbers, here before map number 4, we're going to cut to a short 5-minute break. And when we return, we will have Simp Nation selecting where we are going to go for push and see if they can even up the series one more time. So stick around. All right, welcome back, everybody. YE and Enenra have come out swinging. You know, in a kind of a literal sense, you know, swinging hammers, swinging fists, and whatnot. But they look good. They look great right now. They lost map number 1. You know, that was where we decided to go with the Reinhardt mirror, which very much Simp Nation enjoyed that Reinhardt duel. But since then, they were like, "Hey, we're gonna play our game, and whether you like it or not, we're gonna win this game."
And I think Enenra has adjusted really well to the unorthodox plays that Simp Nation makes, and they're like countering it more so when it happens now. Like we're not seeing Rhaenyra get those random pins on people as often as they were on map number 1. I mean, once you see that consistently happening, you kind of start to adjust to it. And like we said, we're going to map number 4, which is going to be, to everyone's surprise, Colosseo for Simp Nation. For Simp Nation's pick, I should say.
Yeah, it seems like it was going to be pretty obvious where we were going. It's just the best rush map of the 3, right? So it really is no surprise that Colosseo has been selected by Simp Nation. I think the Pixie is still going to be the tank, though.
That is interesting. I was thinking that Rhaenyra would swap back onto tank and start running the Rhine again, but if Pixie's staying, will Pixie play the Rhine? I mean, I don't know at this point, honestly, what Simp Nation is going to opt for, because you'd think if they're picking the rush map, they would want to play their rush comp that they like so much.
Yeah, I mean, we also thought that they were going to run a rush on Servasa.
Yeah. And they didn't. So, you know,
I mean, they came out on a poke.
Yeah, I don't know anything. You know what? That's probably what it's going to be this time, actually. It's going to be the Sigma. I bet if Pixie's staying on tank, it's going to be the Sigma, because that is another thing you can play on this map.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, if they're going to run a rush with Pixie in, I imagine it might be Zarya. I guess that's as close as you're going to get with what we've seen Pixie play to a rush. I mean, you got to think YE and Era, they might like fill out on the Winston, maybe. I don't think it's the worst option in the world. They have looked very, very good on that zombie comp with the Winston, the Moira Lucio, ever since they got dumpstered on, what was it?
Map 1,
Nepal. Yeah, ever since they got beat, I mean, it's just going to be the same old.
Yeah, it's looking like the zombie comp into the Sigma comp, so no surprises there. This is really making me want some gelato, though. Gelato's very tasty. Very tasty.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Well, you don't like gelato?
It's been a long time since I've had gelato.
Like,
I'm just gonna agree with you because I haven't had it in a long time.
It's just fancy ice cream.
All right, here we go. TS1 stands up, ready to roll. Unlocks in 15 seconds. Sniper Monkey in play for Krusty, trying to find something. Now it's the taser time as Zeus gets absolutely clotheslined by Poop there. But that is going to be probably the fight there for YE and Enenra as they've lost their Tracer. They get the first push. Simp Nation aren't getting super aggressive on the Zeus pick, and now that they've lost Omnipotent, it'll be Enenra backing up, and finally Simp Nation are gonna walk forward now.
Yeah, it looks like Simp Nation's strategy is pocket Poob. So we're gonna see Poob getting pocketed on this Sojourn. You can see they almost have overclock already, so like they are absolutely landing their shots right now.
Krusty from the high ground. Sniper Monkey time. I love that was added to Winston for the record. It's so fun to say. Sniper Monkey.
Oh, me too, dude.
Krusty
I get so much
the
ult
Sniper
charge
Monkey.
doing that.
All right, now the dive is engaged from YE and Enenra, and it will be on it to nobody. The follow-up is there. The damage is done by Enenra, and they know where Poob is at, but they're just going to walk away. Except for Zeus, I guess. Oh, hey. Poob is going to throw out the overclock here. Going to be able to take down a second person. Omnipotent going down to the overclock here. The overclock will fade away, but there's still a charge ready to go. Poob getting the damage done. They need to look at Lisbeth, who has abandoned the Sojourn, popping that Valkyrie here, going to escape with their life, and now Simp Nation are going to have to play safe. Surely, right?
I mean, I guess we'll see, won't we? Honestly, great play by Enenra, opting to kind of ignore the pocket and go for everybody else.
All right, Primal Rage from Krusty. It appears that the Winston is stuck on some map geometry now. Sound barrier out from Omnipotent in the face of the... wow, great timing on the Wraith form there from Expective, who has the Wraith, or the Death Blossom ready to go. Will not get a chance to use it here as two people are already dead for the side of YE and Enenra, but they were able to take the lead and get some considerable push here.
Yeah, I mean, and again, this is another example of what I was talking about on the last map, where even in a fully lost fight, Enenra got like another 15 meters on that push. They're playing the objective really, really smartly, even in lost efforts.
Expective has the only ultimate on the board. Death Blossom ready to go here for the Reaper player. As the dive going to come in from Enenra. Only a few meters gained for Simp Nation. Expective, you know, licking their lips at the opportunity to press Q here. Has to use the Wraith form early, so cannot engage with it. Should not engage with it, for the record, everyone. You should not engage with the Wraith form, as the Death Blossom will not come out. Overclock from Poob will, though. Going to be able to find two there. Second one with the Overclock. As it does fade away, the death of Krusty does mean that, not great there for Expective. Looked like they wanted the Death Blossom, but YE and Enenra will be warded off.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're just seeing Poob with this pocket just get a lot of work done. Lisbeth doing a great job on this Mercy of not getting picked early. And ultimates, it's looking like the double support ults, a Deadeye, a Gravitic Flux, a lot of ults on both sides. Expective still has this Death Blossom.
And Zeus is actually going to come in here and drop Poob early. Now the overclock from Zeus, gonna find one early. They're gonna be able to take down nobody. Rhaenyra goes flying across the map here. Elizabeth able to escape, but nobody else will be able to, as Pixie will just need to die here.
Yeah, and I mean, you managed to stop that about, what was it, like a half meter before checkpoint if you're Enenra, and you saved all your ults except Overclock, so I mean, you kind of want to get aggressive here if you're Enenra before Simp Nation gets the opportunity to use their ults.
Krusty looking for something, but Rhaenyra has found something. Death Blossom out immediately. The accretion is in it to Expective's face. Nobody cleans up a couple with the Coalescence, but I mean, the play was made by Pixie.
Yeah, and it doesn't even cost you any. It costs you double support ults, but it doesn't cost you your Gravitic Flux. And smart play from Enenra not engaging with that sound barrier. Now you're gonna have it for this Pixie Flux. So, but Poob is definitely going to get up to this overclock in this next fight. So you gotta do something about Poob. Poob is just popping off right now.
Krusty jumps in, does have the Primal Rage ready to go. They unlock the checkpoint here for Simp Nation. They're able to control the point all the way back to the barrier. So with the death of Zeus and Krusty confirmed, Simp Nation are going to continue their push.
Yeah, I mean, what can we say? The damage boost Sojourn is doing what it needs to do and just laying down this constant pressure to the point where it might be causing Enenra to focus a little too hard on it and, you know, ignoring the rest of the side of Simp Nation.
Now, Krusty switches over to the Reinhardt. The overclock from Poob is going to be able to find one before the sound barrier is dropped by Omnipotent. And with the back of Krusty turned, you got to imagine this Reinhardt goes down, right? Poob not able to find the Reinhardt, but they're keep this fight rolling in their favor. Krusty is still so damn low, but there's nothing that Enenra can do.
Yeah, I mean, every single time they're about to catch somebody, they just escape or they get a mercy beam. Oh, nice shot. Oh.
Oh my god. Poob. Stop it! They have families, Poob. My god. Oh man, the only ultimate on the side of Enenra is the Deadeye, which is even easier to stop with the accretion than the Death Blossom is. And we've already seen that Pixie was no stranger to stopping that. Throwing out this hinder is going to be Rhaenyra, but with the Deadeye able to find Rhaenyra actually from Zeus, will not mean. I mean, it means that there's just nothing that Simp Nation are going to be able to do. They're allowed a lot of their damage, but Poob is actually able to even up with a fist right into the sternum of Zeus. The Gravitic Flux is out. Krusty stays on the floor, and with Expective being in Wraith form, going to be able to get away alive there. But with the Coalescence coming out here, you know, this fight is still very much winnable for Simp Nation. But Krusty, my god, drops everybody to their knees.
I see you, Krusty. I see the vision. That was fantastic. I mean, you're still going to have to fight them at mid here, maybe. Maybe you can deny forwards before Rhaenyra respawns. Also, Poob is on Pharah now, so we have a pocket Pharah in the Masters Grand Final. I did not think I was going to see this today.
There's no counterplay to it either right now. Zeus and Expective are not on hit scans. Death Blossom is out, but it's a... Expective killed 2, guys. Somehow, some way, Expective gets the job done. Rhaenyra does even or try to even up the fight with the pick onto Zeus, but with this Pharah in the sky behind them being such a nuisance to YE and Enenra, I mean, the push will stall out here for a little bit. They can't get too aggressive. Poob still putting these rockets to good use, has the barrage ready to go. Krusty, as soon as this overhealth fades away, can find something, but Poob will not. Krusty sends Pixie off the map, sent flying by the pin, and YE and Enenra will be able to unlock this point.
Yeah, they're finally going to get this checkpoint, and I mean, they need to... Oh, wait, no, they're not. Give it a minute.
Poob gets the pick onto Omnipotent there, but yeah, this is a great fight for Simp Nation right now. The Coalescence out from YE and Enenra is going to keep them stable for a little bit, but it's just not long enough to keep this fight rolling forever and ever like Enenra needs it to, and they're all so damn low, and you know, they've got some ultimates ready to go, but they're not even going to have a chance to use them.
Oh, that is tough. They didn't even get checkpoint, so it's like this is going to have to be the comeback of all time.
They just stopped pushing the bot here.
Yeah, that is interesting that they're pushing it back to the mid. I guess they want another fight here. They want to see if Poob can get another good barrage off.
They'll get another one, and oh my god, Omnipotent got destroyed. As you see the shield there, getting the elimination onto Poob as the Earth Shatter is followed up on beautifully, and it will be Zeus for 2, Expected for 2, Krusty's shield for 1.
I mean, Simp Nation has the Gravitic Flux, they have the Deadeye, and they have the Valkyrie. This is not looking too good for the side of Enenra.
Luckily for Enenra, or luckily for Simp Nation, they've got a lot of space to give. They can take a couple of fights here. So many ultimates. The first one will be that Gravitic Flux, the Deadeye out from Rhaenyra, gonna find a target or 2, and Simp Nation come in here to their map pick of Coliseo. They're going to even up the score, going to map 5, map 6, maybe a map 7.
Yeah, we're at least seeing 6. We're at least seeing 6. And I mean, so the entire strat on this map was, all right, whatever we've been doing hasn't been working. Let's just pocket our player that's been killing it. And that's what we're going to do. On whatever they play, they're just perma-pocketed now. I would be very, very shocked if Poob does not have a pocket for the rest of this series.
That play of the game was very, very funny. Just standing very, very still. They
Right.
can't perceive you if you stand still. But yeah, man, Simp Nation able to come back swinging there on map number 4. Oh my God, let's get a look at these stats real quick. Oh my God, Poob.
That is a
37,
20K
16 final blows, and 5 with 20,000 damage in 10 minutes.
Yeah, we know it was 10
I just
minutes
wanna
too because
steal
it's
on
push. I told you
Poob dominated.
Yes,
I mean, the Sojourn was great.
Yeah.
And then once they realized that Zeus and Xfective were, trying to focus down the Sojourn, trying to jump on them, they said, man, you don't have a hit scan anymore. Why am I not on Pharah? And that works because, this isn't the Overwatch League. This isn't OWCS Grand Finals, right? This is the Masters tier. Flexibility is the sharpest sword anybody can carry in these lower tiers. And Poob said, hey, if you're not going to play a hit scan, I'm going to do something that you can't do anything about. And that was Pharah. Yeah. And he ended up 37-5, 16 final blows, 20,000 damage.
I think map picks are going to start playing a really crucial role going forward. Just because, look, we're basically 0-0 again, right? I believe that we do have the map pick in. I'm not surprised at all by it. It's probably the most dive-favored map that we have in the pool. So, Route 66. Makes perfect sense to me.
Route 66. Yeah, it's not horrible, right? You know what Simp Nation generally want to roll with. So the best, like you said, the map picks are coming in so they're so important at this point in the series, especially because now we're getting to the point where map types are going to start being repeated. Control, I believe, and for maps 6 and 7, they will be Control hybrid, and then potentially an 8th map on push. So yeah, coming into this last map, you want to move the match point, and Enenra know that we can't let them play rush on us.
Yeah. This is a big map. This is a big map. Like, whatever team takes this map, as you mentioned, is going to go to match point. So you gotta lay it. Yeah, you gotta lay it all on the line here. So you definitely want to put your best foot forward if you're the side of either team, honestly.
Yeah, I think that this is a balance map or a balance breaking map, right? I think that whoever wins this map is going to have so much momentum moving forward with map picks and stuff, because if you win this map, the loser gets to go to Control, but the best, you can go to Samoa if you're Simp Nation, or you can go to Oasis if you're Enenra. I mean, that's such a big boon for these teams. I don't know. This is going to be a really, really interesting map, as Simp Nation aren't going to change up too much. They're going to stick onto their poke composition, but Enenra, they're going to be on the Diva composition. Heavy poke focus, though, too, with the pocket from Omnipotent as well.
Yeah, I like this. They saw the pocket do so well in the last map. So, Zeus is trying to take on that challenge, assuming that Simp Nation is probably going to come out on a pocket of their own and just say, just give me a pocket and I'll go deal with Poob. Great, I can handle this. I can take this challenge on. Granted, Simp Nation isn't coming out on that pocket anymore, but you don't know that if you're Enenra.
All right, Enenra gonna get it rolling here on the defense. Xfective already has 18% to that duplicate. Pretty big sticky bombs, I couldn't assume there, as Poob tries to find some shots here, tries to outsnipe Zeus. Has the shield ready to go, does not find a target. Some great peel there from Krusty to keep the shots from landing. You see Poob is just stalking, trying to find something here. Finds a shot into the body of Xfective, who just flies away here. Poob not quite able to find these shots here. Oh! I mean, Easton, oh my god, I need to shut my stupid mouth. Poob just decides, hey, it's already over. This fight's already over. Poob for 3 here. You know, it doesn't matter how you start, it matters how you finish.
Right? Easton just appearing out of thin air just for the Widowmaker to kill right there. That was kind of a crazy little sequence. And you're not even going to get a second fight if you're the side of Enenra. You only get 1 fight on point 1. You can't do that on this map type. You have to get multiple fights per point. Like, you have to.
Yep. And I mean, Poop deciding now is the time to pop off, and there's just nothing that Enenra can do right now. They need to be more decisive with their dives as Poop continues to click heads. You see the poke out there from Zeus as, yeah, Poop has actually done nothing. It's all in y'all's heads. Thank you. Yeah, 44% scoped crit accuracy is crazy. With how this game has started, with how this game started for Poop, that's crazy. And deciding that now they are going to dominate here as, yeah, just finding all these shots. Poop gets the life grip there, got hacked up in Virus by Xfective, who will be able to get out alive there despite the infra sites. As Krusty is just contesting from this high ground, and finally Enenra have something going with the pick onto Rhaenyra. Losing that Cassidy early is big for Enenra as they push Simp Nation back. The resurrection comes right back through. I mean, that was very, very creative by Easton there to drop that amplification matrix where they did. As the coalescence also came out. Now, did Elizabeth just... Okay. I mean, the fights are coming through. The picks are coming through, but Krusty is going to even it up with a good old Primal Rage. Gets some good value with that ultimate 3-piece with the Primal Blade, rather. A good fight there for Krusty as they were able to get Pixie to use that Gravitic Flux.
I mean, I just got to keep shouting out Krusty. Krusty's bubble placement, Primal usage, Primal mechanics, they are just really good at Winston. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, this is just masterclass gameplay.
Cook comes through. Xfective has sights on Poob and doesn't even need the sights. Zeus is able to pop this Widowmaker in the face as the overclock is good for a lot of damage, but it doesn't appear that there's going to be any picks coming through. Can they find this pick onto the Cassidy? No, the damage goes in it to Pixie, who, for all intents and purposes, is a sponge. Now, the EMP from Xfective going to hit 3, going to be good for 1, but Pixie not going to take that lying down, able to find Xfective, and now it's all Zeus and Omnipotent here. Oh, whew.
Man. Poop just continuing to get picks on this Widowmaker, and I think that's going to be enough for Simp Nation to cap this point.
No pedal platform for you, Poop. The damage done already for Simp Nation. They're going to be able to grab this point. You see Poop trying to stay alive, but the peel is great from Lisbeth. Now popping the infra sights, sees where Xfective is playing at. You know, can find that shot whenever they want to, and the bubble's in the way of Easton there, so not forever, unfortunately, for Easton, but it does seem like this point capture will be going in the way of Simp Nation, especially with Pixie finding the pick onto Krusty.
And I mean, even with what felt like some really good fights from Enenra, you still got 3 minutes if you're Simp Nation. So, like, you know, it's really, they're having a really difficult time dealing with Boob just hitting shots. Like, I imagine this must be what Fuel felt like playing proper, just constantly headshotted until they weren't in one map. So, oh my goodness.
All right. You see Poop drops down from the high ground as Xfective is stalking, but there's just nothing good coming from it here. For YE and Enenra, the resurrection is going to come through onto Zeus, but there will be a kite there on the amplification matrix there for Easton as Pixie went over to this Zarya very, very low, but Rhaenyra is just farming headshots now. If it's not Poop, it's Rhaenyra.
I mean, take your pick, honestly. Do you want the cast or do you want the Widow popping off? Take your pick. Oh my goodness.
Doesn't seem like Simp Nation has to pick right now.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's scary. That's so scary. They don't even know Poob's watching them. They're waiting in the spawn room as Poob is as well, and Zeus. So, I mean, that might have been the most boneheaded play I've seen tonight from Omnipotent. Been so consistent all night, looked very, very good, but res right in the face of Poob, and there's just nothing anybody can do. Zeus is able to drop Poob, but this EMP needs to be big, and I mean, it hits a couple, but there's not going to be any follow-up here. The Deadeye comes out from Rhaenyra, going to find Omnipotent, and Simp Nation, they're going to grab this point. The touches, the desperation touches are going to come from YE and Enenra as Krusty has switched over to the Wrecking Ball, but the damage is already done. At least I think the damage is already done. Rhaenyra able to clean up onto Krusty here. The healing just being pumped hand over fist into Xfective, and finally the Tree of Life is what is going to put an end to this fight. The healing too good for Enenra to get through. Simp Nation gonna cap with 44 seconds off of I feel like Dominant doesn't really describe what Poob just did.
Poop doing their best Ons impersonation, just constantly allowing Simp Nation to go in fights up a player. You can't measure that, like you said. Yeah, like you said.
15 final blows in one round.
Like I said, you can't measure how impactful it is that you're always up a player. You know what I mean?
Oh, man, that was crazy. That was crazy, crazy, crazy by Poob there on that attack. And hey, gotta respect Simp Nation for rolling out on what they know that they're gonna win on. And Pixie saying in chat that they're gonna roll out on the Roadhog. They weren't lying about it.
Respect. I do respect the fact that you're not just saying stuff in chat, like you're actually doing it. Enenra opting for a slight variation on the zombie comp, it looks like. Well, okay. Maybe not. Oh, well. Krusty going with the Diva pick here, maybe? And Poob is off the Widowmaker, so you gotta be happy about that if you're Enenra. At least you won't get one
Zombieva comp. Zombieva comp for YE and Enenra. Zombie comp with the Diva.
Yeah.
Alright, here we go on the attack for Enenra. Pixie on the Roadhog. Was Rhaenyra there on map number 2. Just waiting. Poob goes down. Collects a 4th death here on the match. Not able to get the job done on that dive. Now Krusty going to jump up to Big Earl's roof, where the Simp Nation awaits. The hook not going to find a target, and if it did, it was eaten up by Krusty. Now Simp Nation, they need to back up. Xfective, I mean, the peel is just incredible for Krusty. This Diva has been such a boon for them whenever they bring it out, and they're going to win out this fight because of it.
Oh no.
Ring around the Rosie.
No.
Ring around the nobody.
The Moira.
All right, 1.2 meters left for YE and Enenra to capture point A. Now 0.95. They're finding a lot of damage on the Pixie. They're going to get the cleanup here now. It's up to this Moira to keep this attack away. Uses the fade. Doesn't get very far. Nobody will fall. And the capture for YE and Enenra comes through.
I mean, yeah. You're not worried about getting one-tapped by a Widowmaker 24/7 anymore, so you're kind of free to move around the map. You know, normally, like, Widow denies so many angles, and now that Simp Nation isn't playing it, and Enenra can get back to the game that we've been seeing them play this whole series.
Pixie goes over to the Zarya now.
Mm-hmm.
Try and counter out Krusty there on the Diva. Just don't shoot the bubbles, and Krusty is A-okay with that. With a big ultimate fight upcoming here. 9 in the bank. Coalescence out from Easton, going to be the first one to be used. Just to keep Krusty up right now for the time being. This Diva trying to soak up as much damage as they can. Now they're going to bring the Coalescence out. So is a Deadeye from Rhaenyra. Going to be able to find Omnipotent. So Krusty able to get away with the mech, actually. And that's so much healing So that, oh no, okay, they chase down the D.Va and Krusty gets demeched, and they just leave the D.Va alone.
That's what we call unlucky. Unlucky. But you do manage to get a lot of ults out of Simp Nation, though. You get 3 ults out of them essentially, and all you used was Coalescence. Like, that's not a bad trade. You are gonna have to deal with this Tree of Life though, and it's annoying amount of sustain.
Now Tree of Life cuts the team off with Krusty being on this Reinhardt. Gonna try and find something here. Gets hindered up, but that hinder does not keep you away from Enenra. Expective good forward to TP's up to the high ground. Uses the Wraith form to get away, and the push will continue for YE and Enenra.
Yeah, we're seeing the classic H key coming out for both teams here. They just keep constantly swapping to each other's counters. This Death Blossom has to be
ready to go
big.
for Expective here as the fight tries to, or as Simp Nation tries to take a fight from the high ground. The grab is big, but you're just gonna shield it off if you're Krusty here. Omnipotent is very, very low, able to get under the platform and stay alive here. Zeus not so lucky, but Krusty from the top of the cart throws it into the doorway and able to take down at nobody with the Fire Strike. And 4 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock for Simp Nation as they continue to roll through Route 66.
Yeah, I mean, I'm genuinely surprised Poob hasn't opted to try again just to see if they could continue the hot streak. And here it comes, yep, the H key, the classic H key. Pixie has now swapped to the Ramatra.
At least Pixie used grab before they switched.
Yes. But with having Shatter, Krusty had a relatively free Shatter.
Alright, Shatter comes down. He is going to land on the nobody, but at least they get that cleaned up. Death Blossom ready for Expective. This fight is coming down to it. The Reaper from Enenra going to be able to drop Krusty down. Dragon Blade pulled from Poob, going to be able to cut Omnipotent and Zeus into 2 pieces. Poob does go down, but it doesn't matter. YE and Enenra are in shambles in that fight.
Yeah, no joke. And looks like Poob has now swapped to the Bastion. Just full-on counter comp here. This is just one of my ranked games, isn't it? Like, I swear it is.
I mean, this is the ELO where we like to play, right? Masters? I mean, this is where we sit. Alright, here we go. Now both teams on the Ramatra composition. Both Reapers have Death Blossom ready to go, but Expective is the one behind enemy lines. Wants it so bad. Knows that the Wraith form isn't there for this Reaper. The cleanse gonna come out. Not able to get the job done. Pooh with a good 2 picks there. Sound barrier comes out from Krusty. That 1000 HP is going to go away very, very quickly. Not able to keep the ram up and swinging there as Pixie cleans up another couple. And Enenra, they are at a loss right now.
Yeah, I mean, now you have to deal with a Bastion, and Bastion's another one of those heroes like Widowmaker where you have to play the game completely differently than you normally do whenever there's a Bastion out. And it's annoying, honestly. I just find it super annoying having to play Bastion or Widow. But Simp Nation has such a massive ult advantage here.
Alright, Enenra building up to a few of their own, and there's the first. It's the overclock. Krusty is just so low, so often. And with the Tree of Life from Lisbeth coming out, denying so much space from this overclock as it fades away, Enenra just cannot seem to get aggressive. And you're certainly not going to get aggressive if you don't have a Lucio in the fight anymore. Pixie throws out the Annihilation, and so does Krusty?
Well, I mean, that's certainly one way to do that. That's certainly one way to do that. I almost expected Krusty to swap Sigma after they popped that Annihilation right there.
Right. Even time banks just about now. I mean, Ultimates, it's just going to be 2 Kitsune rushes. The first one out from Easton, followed up by nobody. Poob is just raining down bullets from the high ground. The damage is done to a bunch of people. Enenra just cleans it up. That's another great fight there for Simp Nation, and now they have the time advantage.
Yeah, but with it being escort, you'll get time no matter what. So, all you need to do is just win a fight here, get us out of Enenra. You just gotta deal with Poob on this high ground. Somehow, some way, somehow, you gotta deal with this Bastion.
Now it's Simp Nation with all the tools. Death Blossom, Airstrike, which is going to be called out here first. Not going to find a target this time. Rhaenyra does have the Death Blossom ready to go. Just going to wait out the sound barrier. That's a great thing for YE and or for Simp Nation rather. That is not as good for Simp Nation. Death Blossom finds Easton, but now finally YE and Enenra have found a way to break through the ironclad hold of Simp Nation. They're finding the picks here. With the Tree of Life in this fight now, they're going to be able to sustain a little bit for Simp Nation. Both Annihilations have been thrown out. Tree of Life fades away there for Simp Nation, and it was able to sustain them for just long enough. X-Fective's Overclock is going to find Zilch, and Simp Nation, they're moving to match point here, Shadow.
Yeah, eventually, once all these kills get cleaned up here, moving to match point, I mean, that's mostly on the back of Poob's Widowmaker on round 1. Like, I mean, oh my goodness. And then Poob swapping to the Bastion and just doing all of the wild flanks on the Bastion as well, and just getting this damage from the high ground. Just honestly, really, really great plays. Simp Nation getting back to their meme playstyle that we were missing for the last few maps.
Get a look at Poob real quick. I mean, the stats obviously going to catch up there as they did leave that Widowmaker role. But still, 26 final blows, man.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And I mean, the only person that came close to the damage that Simp Nation were dealing was Krusty with 17k just about. And I mean, everybody on the side of Simp Nation had their moments. Rhaenyra, you saw in that play the game, took out 4 in that fight. Poob speaks for itself. And then Pixie actually only died 4 times that map. And then Elizabeth and Nobody, they just output so much healing.
Yeah, they absolutely did. Elizabeth, shout out to those Trees of Life. They were just really irritating to deal with if you're the opposing team of Enenra. And we're gonna see a little comparison here between Poob and X-Fective, actually.
Yeah, I mean, Poob has got. Let's see, hey Siri, what's 26 divided by 8? It's going to be 3.25, 3.25 times the amount of final blows of X-Fective on the other side. Just an absolutely monstrous map by Poob here. And, obviously outpacing by a lot, dying half as much. I mean, there's no words to describe how well Poob played on Route 66.
No, none whatsoever. I mean, I have to imagine that the side of Enenra just wasn't ready for the utter dominance from the Widowmaker on that attacking round. That's really what it comes down to, because Enenra had a really solid push, I felt like, at least up until 3rd point when they just swapped Bastion and Reaper and decided to blow up Krusty every chance they had.
Yeah, while we're still waiting for a map selection here from Enenra, I do want to talk about something that you were talking about before we got into the comparison between X-Fective and Poob, the Trees of Life.
Yeah.
It felt like Elizabeth was using them as, 1,000 HP Maywall a lot of the times. And sometimes, we saw in Hollywood, sometimes that costs them. But most of the time, Elizabeth places the trees well enough to cut off 1 or 2 people from the side of Enenra from getting into the fight. And because of that, there's just nothing that they can do because they're down 2 people. They can't get into the fight. They've got to deal with a big ass tree right behind them. 1,000, 1,200 HP, whatever it's. I think it's 1,000.
I believe it is. Yeah, I always call it healing Bob. So however much health Bob has.
Yeah, it's just like the use of the tree of life by Elizabeth has been I think a core factor on when Simp Nation rather is playing well, right?
Yeah, definitely. They've been playing that hero almost exclusively for this entire series, and I thought they were just kind of memeing around and joking. At least they were with the Reinhardt. That was some wild gameplay on the ball. But I can definitely tell Simp Nation is taking this a lot more seriously than they were in the earlier maps. You just tell by like the way that they're playing. They're still doing like their flanks, but it's not quite as wild as before, and it looks like we do have our map pick. And again, we mentioned this earlier that this might be the map that Enenra would go for when they pick control, and it is Oasis.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about how damn good Krusty looks on the Winston. This is the best place to play that as far as control goes. The maps that we have in the map pool, the selections that were left were the Busan, Oasis, and Samoa. And out of the 3 of those, Nepal's a no-brainer for what Enenra wants to run. And it's the no-brainer to counter what Simp Nation wants to run, especially with Rhaenyra coming back into the tank role, right? You got to think that probably is going to lead to a Reinhardt or a Roadhog. I'm leaning towards Reinhardt.
We're gonna see some more dive Reinhardt here, folks. Map number 6, is Simp Nation gonna close it out, or can Enenra force a map 7? I'm really hoping for the map 7. Those are always great to see. It looks like Enenra is gonna opt for this Ramatra comp initially, at least. And Simp Nation obviously going with their patented Reinhardt composition. I imagine nobody's going to swap to that Zenyatta like they did on map 1, or maybe they do stick with the Moira.
All right. This is for everything. And a Masters tier can come down to this if Simp Nation locks it down. Now, YE and Enenra, they can still stay alive here. They have one more shot. They can give up one more of these maps. And you see Poob is already on the flank. Nemesis form out from Krusty, trying to pummel down as many people as they can get. But it's going to be X-Fective that opens up this fight. Krusty below half HP. I mean, Rhaenyra is pretty close to that, I guess. Very, very low, gets pulled out by Elizabeth there. And it will be YE and Enenra that gets this first flip here, as actually Pixie's going to get the touch, and they're going to get the pin onto Krusty. And now Enenra, they can't take this flip. They're going to lose some progress as Simp Nation loses Pixie here. Will they reaggress? It looks like maybe.
And nope. Okay.
The answer's no.
Yeah. Good pin from Rhaenyra. I can see a big difference in the way they're playing. They're taking this a lot more seriously than they did in the ball. They're not doing all these wild, goofy flanks on Reinhardt anymore.
All right. Move over to the high ground does YE and Enenra. They have a coalescence to get this fight going, coming up very, very soon. Nobody, very, very low. Now the tactical visor out from Poob. It doesn't matter because it was in the face of the one person that can pretty reliably tank all that damage. A Tree of Life from Lisbeth not coming out in time to save the life of Rhaenyra. Pixie has to burrow, has to dig away. Able to take down Omnipotent, actually, with the Drill Rush, I think, from under the map. But it will be X-Fective dropping 2 there to clean up the fight. 41% is all Simp Nation gets.
And, I mean, you don't burn any ults if you're an Enenra, so just stay alive here, and you have a massive ult bank advantage going into this next fight. All you got to watch for is Rhaenyra's Shatter, which, again, it's kind of free here, so you need to kind of sacrifice Krusty, I think, and just try to keep them alive with a sound barrier or something. Like, I don't know, this is going to be tough.
All right. Ultimates are in the favor of YE and Enenra as the Coalescence comes out to start this fight out. They have 4 more in the bank ready to go. Death Blossom out from Zeus, and Tectonic Surge not gonna be able to be used, but the Earth Shatter will. Rhaenyra turns this fight on its head with a 4-man Earth Shatter, and they will wrench this point back from the hands of YE and Enenra.
Oh, and that's exactly what I was talking about. The shatters are really free going into this Ramatra composition. If you're Omnipotent, you gotta play more defensively than that, knowing that Rhaenyra can just knock your whole team down at a moment's notice.
But they know that now. No Earth Shatter in play
Yeah.
for Rhaenyra, so they need to get something done here. They need to get it done fast. They rotate up to the high ground as Simp Nation crosses the 70% mark. Annihilation being used by Krusty, but Omnipotent gets taken out by the Tectonic Surge, and Pixie puts 2 in the dirt, where, that's where they would like to be. That is the home of the Venture, right in the dirt.
Oh man, what a good ult from Pixie. My goodness. And then Poob just denying touch basically with this Deadeye. I don't think anybody's gonna touch. Yeah, no.
Deadeye comes out, goes away. The touch is going to come in from Krusty. Now the overclock from Expected needs to find something, anything for Enenra to stay alive here on this map of... Yeah, it's just not going to be able to get done here for Enenra. Krusty and Omnipotent are all that is left, and that 1,000 overhealth goes away very, very quickly. If everybody's already looking at you, and they were looking at Omnipotent. Earth Shatter puts Krusty down, and Simp Nation gonna lock up this first submap here on Oasis.
Yeah, so the thing that really turned that was that one Shatter fight, because that was the same sound barrier Omnipotent had during that fight that just got used there at the end. So I mean that's just tough. Like you didn't that's like the one thing you really need to deny with sound barrier, maybe the Tectonic Surge as well, but it was kind of a big turning point moment for that map, because Simp Nation is really good at doing these ridiculously set up plays, but they can't do that if they're having to push into you because you already have point. So if you're Enenra, this first fight is incredibly important because it's going to deny a lot of those goofy little plays that Simp Nation likes to do.
Alright, Krusty taking back up the armor, taking back up the hammer. See what they can do on this Reinhardt composition as we get into the garden here. You see the pedal platform gets Rhaenyra up to the high ground. This Reinhardt's gonna have to back down eventually, but doesn't want to. Will not actually. Pins all the way in. Gets nothing for the effort, and Simp Nation will get nothing for that effort either. It'll be the first flip going over to Enenra. Despite Zeus going down, they're comfortable.
I mean, you're happy with that. For you to lose a Tracer duel when it took you the entire fight to do so, that's a lot of distracting you're doing onto Poob. Poob not being in the fight is just, it's massive for Enenra.
Pressure on the point from the Simp Nation. Enenra will not allow the flip to come through. They push Poob away for a little bit, but Pixie and Poob come together here, and they're able to take down Omnipotent and Zeus. And just like that, before the fight even starts, Simp Nation have killed 4 now.
Yeah, I mean, now that Poob doesn't have to deal with Zeus on that off angle, like in Fight 1, we see Poob getting a lot more kills. So Zeus needs to mark Poob, like, eternally. Just needs to eternally be on Poob's head in order to just stop Poob from getting at their backline, Omnipotent and Easton.
Alright, Poob almost has a pulse bomb ready to go. Has to use the recall early. That's not a great thing for Poob here. Who's gonna, the pulse bomb throws it out, does not find the target here. It will be a trade early in this fight. Expected for Pixie. YE and Enenra does take the flip here, and now they can get aggressive as they know that no matter what happens, they're denying percentage for Simp Nation, and Krusty cleans it up with a big couple of fire strikes, and Enenra, they can take a breath. They can chill out now.
Oh, my favorite moment in a Rhine duel. Both Ryans have Shatter. Who's gonna get the MTD moment here? Who's gonna get the MTD moment here? We have seen Krusty do great things on this Winston and even on this Reinhardt, but not so much in the duel on map 1. So I want to see if they can get the better of Enenra with this Shatter fight.
Earth Shatter from Enenra. Krusty does get put on their back, and there's no saving Krusty here, but there may be saving this fight for YE. Enenra, 2 are dead on the side of Simp Nation as the Tree of Life fades away. The fight is evened up. Zeus needs to use the recall. Can find a target with this Bolt Bomb. Gets the touch, denying the flip from Poop for a little bit, but it will be, Simp Nation bringing this fight out because, hey, you said it. Enenra got the MTD moment.
Yeah, and I mean, for you to lose that and still get the point up to 80%, I mean, that's not too bad because all you used was Shatter. So, I mean, we're gonna have dueling coalescences. The Tectonic Surge from Pixie is the big ult I would be watching out for here. They've been really good with that ult in this series.
All right, here we go. Coalescence out early. Both sides using it, a counter pin there. Sound barrier out from Easton now. That Tectonic Surge not going to be able to deal enough damage to find Pix through the sound barrier. Pixie is very, very low. Deals a little bit of damage with that ultimate as it fades away, but hey, look, it's Poop getting the better of Zeus on the point. Pulse Bomb going to be stuck on it to Omnipotent, who just fades away from it. Enenra, very, very low. Cannot get away from Krusty. Can Poop. Enenra is still so low as Expective is just going to town. Krusty cleans up Enenra, and we're going to a map number 3 here on Oasis.
Oh man, Expective saw that little stat comparison from Route 66 and said, "Hold on, I gotta get on Sojourn." Okay, this is what needs to happen on this map. I gotta recover from that Route 66 differential. I mean, look at that. Look at that from Expective. Keeping pace with Poob, honestly.
They even up the stats because of that map. That was a dominant map from Enenra. Straight up. And that was in a straight-up Rhine duel, which Simp Nation wants. They want that.
Yeah, I noticed as well that Enenra swapped supports. Like, Omnipotent is now playing the Moira and Easton playing the Lucio, so they just swapped that around. And that seems to be doing well for them as well.
All right. It's going to be City Center to determine map number 6. Will it be cleaned up? Poob on this Widowmaker trying to do just that. Ah! Get big, Poob! Put Zeus down! Big headshots from Poob for 3! Poob taking over the match once again on this Widowmaker. Hits a shot on the fading Moira, but it's enough to push YE Enenra out.
I mean, I said this on Route 66. You know, if Poob just stayed Widow the entirety of Route 66, I don't think Enenra would have even capped .1. So, like, this is a problem. This is a problem right now. Like, I don't know how else to say it. This is a problem, and I don't know how to solve this problem. When they got the best Widowmaker in the lobby, you just win.
You have to... I mean, Poob is just clicking heads. You have to go dive. Like, that's the only answer here. This is the best dive map on Oasis, and as this Infrasites gets popped here, Zeus is in danger. Hits it and misses the shot there from Poob, but Poob is just stalking, waiting for the opportunity, and Enenra are just giving it to Poob. They rotate over through this front of the point, just trying to avoid Poob in their entirety, and Expective able to drop the Reinhardt there. They're going to be able to find some give here in this fight. Zeus able to put Poob down finally as a Krusty is going to try and roll through this point. Pull from Lisbeth. What a fire strike from Krusty to clean up the fight. 56% for Simp Nation as Enenra take over.
Okay, now you have a much better advantage if you decide of Enenra. You can play these sightlines a lot harder now that you have control over the point and just not give Poob the opportunity to take anyone out. And that's what you have to do.
You don't have to peek here. Now, Earth Shatter, Overclock, ready to go. Earth Shatter hits 3! For Krusty! And the cleanup is there for YE Enenra. Enenra has to back down.
And I mean, again, Simp Nation has to play into you. As long as you're aware of where Poob is at all times, you can play angles to where the Widowmaker can't have that impact now that you have the point control, but you cannot lose the point control.
Now, nobody's going to throw out the overclock, and the Earth Shatter is blocked by Krusty. The Tree of Life and the Kitsune Rush were both used, neither really finding a whole lot of value, but Poob has popped Zeus one more time. The Tectonic Surge going to be able to find good for one there onto Omnipotent. YE and Enenra will take the lead here, but it won't be for very long.
Yeah, and now that Poob has the opportunity to set up on this Widowmaker again, it's going to be really hard for YE and Enenra to push into this. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody just die like in the next 35 seconds, like 3 to 5 seconds, I should say.
All right. Simp Nation, they know that the ultimate is up, so they're just saying, "Hey, we respect you, Poob. We're not peeking you here." So they waited, and Poob popping Easton one more time in the mouth. They have 3 ultimates in this fight. Should they want to use it now? Or the Shatter comes out and does not find. It finds it doesn't actually find anything. Enenra throws down the Earth Shatter, finds 2, 90%. There's nothing that YE and Enenra can do. Poob goes nuclear in map number 6, and they're so scared. They respect him so damn much. The overtime has begun for YE and Enenra. They have to play it safe. They cannot let this happen. But a big, massive, colossal pin from Enenra to put Zeus out. They're able to get the reinforcements back, but Enenra has come into this fight swinging fire strikes, coming out left and right, picks coming out left and right. The touches, they have to keep going. The hack onto Enenra, not able to take down this Reinhardt here. Going up to this high ground, expected very, very low. Nobody rolls up, but Poob popping Easton again. One more time for the man. Give it to him. Poob under pressure by the Widowmaker, gets pulled up. They are able to keep this fight going. Who's touching? It's Omnipotent. There's nothing left for YE and Enenra in the tank. Poob drops an absolute masterclass, and your NA Masters champions are Simp Nation.
I mean, what can I say? Poob pulled out the Widowmaker on map 5 and 6 and said, I guess that enough of this trying to play heroes that aren't Widowmaker. Let's just play Widowmaker. So, let's just play
Jesus
Widowmaker and
Christ.
hit every headshot.
Jesus Christ, Poob. Oh my God. 31-5 and 19 final blows, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, what else is there to say besides
Hey, I wonder
Poob
who the
hit
desk
shot.
is going to pick for MVP.
Poob hit shot. Poob hit shot well.
Dude, that was a masterclass on how to play Widowmaker. Frankly, Poob, we obviously are talking so much about the Widowmaker from Poob. Poob looked good on everything he played.
Yeah, no, because the Widow. I just focused on the Widowmaker so hard because you can just. This can happen in any lobby. This can even happen in like champion lobbies. Like a Widowmaker can just go off and dominate super hard like that. That's just the nature of the hero.
Oh my God, they looked so dominant. And it was so close until Poob said, "Hey, I'm sorry. I have to do it, y'all."
I'm just going to play the hero that's only counter is to be better than me at the hero.
See, frankly, as you look at the stats, once again, Poob nearly doubling X-Factive in eliminations. I mean, similar damage there. X-Factive does get the better. Final blows, though, just unreal from Poob, man. They are... I just don't think there's a question on who the most valuable player in this series was.
Oh, yeah.
It's. I mean, we'll get an official call on that in a few minutes when we head back over to the desk. But I mean, they might need to get checked if they don't pick Poob.
yeah, most definitely.
Oh,
man. Good fight though from Enenra. Kudos to them. They put up a really like we said, this was a close series. Like this could have went either way until poop just turned into ons. You know, I mean, there's nothing that you can do when your player is ons. You know what I mean? There's nothing you can do.
Yeah. Okay. So, cut to a break here. We'll come back with an interview, and yeah, I mean, we'll go back to the desk. Me and Head Rammer, we're on top here. 4-2 Simp Nation. They are the NA Masters Tier Grand Finals champions for CGL Season 13. Thank you all for watching. Stick around. We've got an interview and some analysis coming up. And man, what a series.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
And so we have claimed another victory here in MTT 13. Holy cow, what a series. Simp Nation and YE and Enenra. Masters tier NA. Holy cow. Chef Billy here, back with 2 Tryhard Raid, Joker's Ransom, and Head Rammer. We are joined by the victorious support coming out from Simp Nation. It's Fatty joining us. Fatty, how the heck are you doing? Congratulations on your victory. I mean, yeah, they started getting ahead of steam, and we were watching the whole thing from behind the scenes. And Ray asked us before we went into map number 6. He's like, "All right, guys." He's like, "Is it going to be 7 maps or is it going to be 6?" And I literally said, "My heart says 7, but my brain says 6." And boy, did Poob do some stuff there. But I tell you what, you talk about being nervous. We were nervous for you. What were the comms like there in the 6th map?
I'm gonna bring it all the way back to map number 1. We were told there was a Ryan 1v1 going to be happening, and then after the round 1, you know, the Ryan 1v1 happened, and then round 2, it didn't happen. What was going through your minds after they disrespected the nature of the Ryan 1v1?
And everything's going well. And then map 2, or part 2 of that map, we were pretty stunned. They switched our Ryan, but we were cool with it. We said,
I will let you know that I let Krusty know that I was very upset with them in match chat. I just want you to let you know that I let them have it. Ray, you're up next.
Yeah. So with the chaotic nature that this series kind of was, it felt like every map, it was like a conglomerate of so many different compositions that we saw. You know, whether you guys were playing Sigma or Zarya or all these different compositions, like what was going through you guys' heads every time? Was it just like, they're running this now, we need to swap to this tank in order to counter them, or was it more you guys feeling comfortable in like these switch ups and felt like it was just the right time to do that?
yeah, that's been our strength all season. Like, not just switching heroes mid match, but constantly switching our DPS and our tank and our DPS and our tank each map. Constantly doing that and changing heroes, being flexible like that is kind of how we've done it all year. And so, constantly changing in a map, that's normal for us. We kind of thrive on that. So, in maps that get crazy, we're totally cool. That's what we want to do.
When you said you know, things started out a little bit calm and started working their way to be a little bit more chaotic as you guys were losing grip on the series. What was going through your team's comms in those moments? Like, what did you guys think the problem was, and how did you adjust?
We just couldn't decide on, as you saw, which heroes to play. And so we're constantly saying, do we play this? Do we play this? No. Well, if you play this, I'll play this. There's a lot of chatter about what is the right comp.
Okay, so there was a little bit of disagreement on that.
Yeah, that was most of it. It was just, we loved changing it up, but what was the right change?
Mm-hmm.
And we couldn't really agree on that. Yeah.
Okay, and would you say this is probably the most you've been pushed all season?
Yeah. Oh, certainly. Normally, I would say, teams don't force us to make this many changes, like this team did here today.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you watch our past VODs, we changed constantly, but not anywhere near what we were doing today. Like, they had us going chaotic. No one's ever done that before.
Was there any time to do it? I mean, I guess the grand finals is the time to make that happen. When, you know, emotions are running high, people are like, "Oh shit, oh shoot, what's going on?" Yeah. We've seen, like, obviously We talked about the many performances we've seen from Poob throughout the series. But at the same time, the team is doing a really good job at enabling them to kind of make those plays. So when it comes to things like disengagements and stuff, who is calling that on the team?
It is Poop.
They're calling for their own disengagements.
Yeah, he was saying them ahead of time. Like he was banding up with our Life Weaver. Put your pedal here, pull me out at this point ahead of time.
Oh.
And so they were setting up those disengagements. They were set plays, basically. Yeah.
Okay, and have you practiced before, or is it just in the moment?
Oh no, yeah, we've been practicing that. Yeah, we running the Life Weaver is one of the first things we decided this season. So we've been running Lizbeth on Life Weaver pretty much the entire season. He switched up a little bit. Like today, he played Mercy some, but that's something we've been working on all year. Yeah.
Alright, that makes sense.
Yeah, I just have one question, and this is kind of in the words of Chef Billy. What was that final sum map from Poob? Is that Poob just doing Poob things, or was that like him getting possessed and going sicko mode?
I think they made him angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry, and he said, "All right, you're gonna have to face my widow now." They've done it.
I had to reflexively duck out of the way because I felt a shot was going away. Holy cow! Yeah, I mean, Poob back from the N7 days. We know how good of a hit scan he is, and well, I tell you what, the whole team absolutely crushed it today. Gave us a really good final, though. You know what? I'm glad to hear that they actually made you sweat a little bit, to be quite honest, because you had been dominating all season here in this tier. So, Fatty, before we let you go, any shout outs or any things that you want to give to your team, to your fans, anybody out there?
I don't know what fans we have. I'll give a shout out to Lizbeth. We've been absent for a while, and it was his idea to get the game back together. He's new to the team, but he really wanted to get with us and scrimmage. And we don't have a team anymore, but he said, "Can you guys get it back together?" So, shout out to him.
Oh, okay. That is absolutely heartwarming and wholesome, all wrapped up in one. Fatty, thank you so much for taking some time out of your night. We'll let you get back to your team to celebrate your grand finals win. Congratulations. Let all the folks there in Simp Nation know that we are really proud of them. So have a good night, friend.
Thank you so much.
All right, everybody. That was Fatty joining us here in the broadcast booth for your interview after their 4-2 win over YE and Enenra. And I tell you what, I may have predicted wrong again, but you know what? I got the map score right. I'm okay with that. And I'm also okay with how these two teams played. This was a back and forth affair. We saw it. And
predicted 4-1 YE and Enenra, so you didn't get anything right.
Did I really? I don't remember. I don't remember what I had for dinner. Okay, so whatever. Shut up.
You ate it on stream. How do you not remember?
Wait a second, Billy.
Oh, wait. I got spaghetti over there. No, I see my bowl now. I had spaghetti. Anyways, I'm old. Shut up. Leave me alone. But seriously, let's get a wrap up of the day's events. I mean, we had two pretty big stomps to start out our day, and then we got treated to a gem. And we've been on stream now, all of us here in this call now for almost 9 hours. So, Ray, final thought for the day. Go.
Look, it was a great day of Overwatch. Glad we got to end the day on the best series. And I think regarding this series in general, since we are kind of focused in on this one, I think really kind of as Fatty mentioned, it just came down to them being able to make more swaps that benefited them in crunch time. Like Route 66 was a big one where they kept making some key swaps at the very end to make things happen.
Joker.
I might not have gotten the map correct, but I got the pred correct in the end. That's all that matters, baby. I got one right. Let's go.
Blizzard, kick him, Blizzard.
No, I mean, as I'm just saying, nothing's more boring than watching a 4-0 that is just straight meta the entire time. And we had saw some unique boys to play. Like we saw Life Weaver play, and in fact, he was talking about how they've practiced those and they want to play around it, enable that, and they're calling it out. And I think that's really cool to see. We've seen way more Reinhardt in this series, and I think we've seen the entirety of playoffs. It was cool to watch. We had big shatters on both sides. We had shatters blocked by trees. We had trees trying to be used as ways to make it so people couldn't get through various areas. It was cool to watch.
It really was. It really was. My final thought of the day. Yeah, we got treated to some good Overwatch. We got to see Reinhardt come out, like you said. We got to see Poob go absolute sicko mode for getting pissed off there on Oasis. I mean, I was scared. I was screaming in our call, we were trying to discuss MVP stuff. Billy, tell me about this analysis thing. I'm like, holy sh! And words that we can't say on here because Poob was just letting people know who was really in charge. But my final takeaway for the day, well, I guess my second to final takeaway for the day. We have grown this scene so well, and not only from the teams and the tournament itself, but also to the production staff from behind the scenes and the casters on the screen. And in that vein, congratulations in the flesh for your 100th CGL cast. Congratulations! It's not an easy feat to get there. So congratulations to you, my friend, and for everybody else here at CGL.
We didn't do the MVP.
Yeah. Oh, God. We have to do the MVP?
Yeah, we didn't. Well, we don't have to, but it would be probably nice
to.
It would probably be nice to let the Twitch chat know.
But why do we have to do this, though? Okay, MVP. It should not be a real. It really shouldn't be any kind of a question here. It's going to be Rhaenyra from Simp Nation. Everybody was saying Poob. Well, Poob popped off for one sub map, but Rhaenyra was across two roles, dominant in this match in every single way. Especially that fat shat on University that took my breath away and gave me goosebumps all over my body. It had been a while since I had seen a 4-man shatter like that, so I was very happy to see it indeed. But final thoughts from you three there about Rhaenyra being the MVP for the day? Real quick. Go.
Yeah, he just played extremely well, flexible, going across two roles. Sometimes that can be to a team's detriment, and it actually worked really well. And just so we don't forget before we close out the stream, we do have 3 more grand finals left on the docket, so make sure to keep your guys' eyes out for that, especially since 2 of them are going to be after the midseason patch, which will make things that much more interesting with all those changes coming to the tanks, baby.
Joker.
Rhaenyra was really good, and I think I don't think they would have been able to do as much as they did if Simp Nation style didn't allow them to pop off like they did. Without I do again, Fatty shouted them out. I want to shout out Lisbeth because without them in this lineup, I don't think Rhaenyra can do what Rhaenyra was able to do. To get out of situations with that life grip. So I think that is an honorable mention. Elizabeth really kind of held the entire team together with life grip with that pedal platform as well.
I'll second that. Alex?
Yeah, no, Reinhardt played incredibly well across those 2 roles, especially when, playing the Reinhardt, going against the Reinhardt the caliber of Krusty, who was doing amazing things in their own right. To be able to compete with that while swapping back and forth between many different roles, it's pretty dang impressive in my book.
All right, now just a reminder for everybody, this is probably, in quotation marks, going to be our last night of the week Overwatch for this year. So thank you all for joining us here. Sam sends us love from Beyond the Ether. Bullskunk also sends love as well. We look forward to coming back to you in MTT 14. Please look down the line, look in the announcements because there are tentative dates for things that are going on after this season is done. There will be some off-season tournaments going on. I believe, if I read it correctly, Alex, please fact check me here. August or September will be the beginning of MTT 14, if I am correct.
Correct. We're aiming to start the next season in September. Trying to fit in our off-season tournaments, and also kind of align with that, a little bit of that when fall semester is starting. So people that are in college or collegiate teams can also play.
Yep, and we always have to be careful and mindful of the Christmas break that comes up with it. But for everybody here, once again, I'll get to close out this time. Everybody, please take care of yourself. Be good to each other. Be good to each other inside the game and out. And we will see you very soon for the last 3 grand finals. Have a good night, everybody. Love you. Bye.
Bye.